Hi, Jesse. Do you have a few minutes for your mom? Guess what happened? I'm so upset. Upset? What's wrong, Mom? Has something happened? Wait. Don't tell me this is about Brianna again. Well, it is. How did you know? I haven't even said anything. It's not a hard guess. You've been complaining about her so much lately. Especially the past few months. It's the only thing you talk about. Don't be so sarcastic, young lady. I've had other things to talk about besides her. Not that I can recall. So what is it this time? It happened last night at the dinner table. You know I hate pumpkins, right? I think it tastes horrible, so I really don't like them. I have told her about it ever since she married Carl. There is no way she didn't know about it. But guess what she served us for dinner last night? Seriously, Mom? You are going to complain to me about her serving you pumpkin? She gave me pumpkin soup. Of all things, pumpkin soup. I was mortified. You would be mad if I served you something you didn't like, wouldn't you? And it tasted horrible. She's a terrible cook. Of course I would not be mad. I would never be so ungrateful. I might politely turn it down, explaining why I prefer not to have it, at most. Generally, I would shut the hell up and just eat it anyway. She could have just forgotten that you didn't like it. I don't think Brianna is the type of person who would do that on purpose. Give her a break, Mom. At least she puts the effort in cooking for her family. You shouldn't be so hard on her. I've been wanting to tell you this, but you are being mean. Mean? You think I have been mean to her? I don't think you understand, Jessie. She married my son. My eldest baby who will take on the family name. She needs to be disciplined so that she will not disgrace her husband's name. So, of course, I will be hard on her. Jesus, Mother, we don't live in the Middle Ages, and we are an average-class family. Why are you acting like a royal? We don't have any kind of family heritage or a legacy to hand down anyway. Not that it should impact the way you treat your daughter-in-law. You should really update your ideologies. Of course we have a heritage. The house and the property will be passed down to him. It has been handed down for generations. Yeah, but the property still belongs to Grandma, who is very much alive at the moment. When she passes, the estate will be in his and he will live here. Okay, sure. But it's just a relatively large house. We don't own a castle or anything. I don't think she needs to be disciplined to live in a house. You should appreciate all the things she does for you, despite you being so picky about everything. You know, I would never want to live with my in-laws, but she never made a fuss about living with you. I think Brianna is an excellent daughter-in-law. You should be thankful for her. Jessie, you don't get it. You just don't see how hard it is to live with her. I don't want to say this, but she is really clumsy. And she talks back like a teenager. Her attitude towards me is so horrible. She has zero respect for me. I have a hard time believing that. I see her often enough, but I have never felt that she had an attitude. She is always very polite and respectful. See, that's what I mean. She has tricked you into believing she is nice. She loves it when people see her as the sweet, polite girl. But she is just pretending. When she is home, she is very different. Nothing like the Brianna you know. That doesn't even make sense. Why would she act polite to her sister-in-law but not to her mother-in-law? It won't do her any good. I could maybe understand if it was the other way around. How would I know? The bottom line is, she is not who you think she is. She's a very rude and unappreciative person. I don't know, Mom. She always remembers my birthday and sends me gifts. She does the same when I can't make it back for Thanksgiving or Christmas or any kind of occasion. I am always grateful that she remembers me. I'm saying she is just acting like a good girl around you. She's so clumsy and always breaking things in the house. But she doesn't even apologize for it. She doesn't even care if she ruins something that is precious to someone else. You see, she is quite rude. Even that sweet Carl is having a hard time with her. That doesn't sound like the Brianna I know. But I am not around enough to know. I guess you would know better since you live under the same roof. Maybe I am missing something. But hey, I am sure she is a great mother to Emma. Why? What makes you think she is a good mom? I saw them together having fun. I must have seen them last month while I was visiting you. They were enjoying the small beach by the lake. The lake? You mean the one that's a couple of minutes away from here? Yeah, that one. I used to swim there as a child too, remember? I didn't see Carl with them, but the two of them were having fun and swimming in the water. Oh, well, was there anything odd about it? I mean, I hope she wasn't going to do anything silly in the water. Like what? She was just playing with Emma, as far as I could see. Am I supposed to think they are weird for taking a swim? Brianna is weird. She does a bunch of weird things all the time, so I thought I'd ask. There was nothing weird about them. But now that you mention it, I guess I didn't expect her to be so wild. What do you mean? What was she doing? She was dunking herself in the water many times, like she was dunking her entire body all the way to her head. It seemed a bit wild now that I think about it. She always struck me as the quiet, gentle kind, so I didn't think I'd see her so active in the water, even with her daughter. I see. Well, like I said, she is weird like that, so I am not surprised. It was a surprise for me, but in a good way. I mean, she was all in, you know? Emma seemed like she was having fun. So I bet she is a great mom to her daughter. How easy it must be for you to just say that. I still have a hard time seeing her that way. You don't understand what it's like for me, living with her. I am always so stressed because of her. I think it's impacting my health. I would be lucky if I survive another year. Don't be surprised if you ever get a call from the doctor. Come on, it can't be that bad. Anyway, I am sorry to hear that you are stressed. But Mom, maybe cut her some slack. She also must be extremely stressed raising a child while living with her husband's family. So try to be nice. For me. Please. If you need, you can complain to me anytime. But you should try to build a good relationship with her. I have been trying ever since she joined this family. But yeah, sure, whatever. We will see how things go. Hi, Brianna. Can I ask you a quick question? I think I saw you at the lake today. Were you taking a swim by yourself? Hi, Jessie. Yes, I was at the lake by myself today. I didn't know you were in the area. Oh, okay, so it was you. I thought so, but you weren't with your daughter, so I thought it must have been someone else. Were you watching me? I was just passing by in my car, but I noticed you because I was going slow on that passage. So, yes, I guess I watched you a bit. Sorry, didn't mean to be a peeping Tom. That's all right, although I do feel a bit embarrassed. You shouldn't be. You seem like you're enjoying the swim. But hey, I never imagined you have a wild side to you. Were you exercising or something? It looked like you were dunking yourself in the water. I've seen you do the same with your daughter before. What were you doing? Oh, Well, I was just washing my hair. Uh-huh. You were washing your hair at the lake. Yes. My daughter went out with your mother and brother today, so I figured I'd use this chance to finally wash my hair. I feel nice and clean now. I don't get to use too much shampoo at the lake, but it's not so bad once you get used to it. Better than not washing your hair at all. Hold on. You are joking with me, right? Do you always go to the lake to wash your hair? Yes, I do. Does my mother and brother know about this? I mean, if you prefer it, I can't stop you. But why don't you just use the shower in the house? Yes, your mother and brother knows about it. They are the ones who told me I can't use the shower at the house. That's why I've been going to the lake. I beg your pardon. They told you that you can't shower at home? Why on earth would they say something like that to you? Yes, they did. I think it started like 2 months ago. They banned me from using the shower because I wasn't doing any of the chores right, or at least not their way. I'm sure normally people would just go to the gym or something, but I'm not allowed to carry my own money, so I can't afford a membership. So they told me to wash myself in the lake. Wait, sorry, I'm totally confused from the shock. My family is making you wash yourself in the lake because you are not doing chores their way. So you mean they are bullying you, right? I guess that sounds about right. Is it just my mom? Does Carl not say anything to defend you? Your mom, mostly. She doesn't bully me too much around my daughter, thankfully. But the rest of the time, it goes on non-stop and Carl just watches. Brianna, why are you so cool about it? You're not talking about what used to happen in the past. It's happening now, right? Why do you sound like you are okay about it? I'm not, but what's the point of me fighting? I have been a full-time housemaker since I got married to Carl, so I don't have any financial independence. My parents are both passed away, so I can't ask them for help. So for me to stay with my daughter, I have no choice but to tolerate them. You should have come to me. How could you let yourself be their slave? You don't enjoy being bullied, do you? Of course not, but I have to prioritize my daughter. You see, Jessie, I come from a poor family. I want to make sure my daughter doesn't have to go through what I did. And if that means I need to sacrifice my dignity, then I am okay. Like I said, I have no way to support her on my own. She is much better off in the current environment. But I can't just leave her here. It would kill me if I ever get separated from Emma. So I have to suck it up and appreciate that she will at least have a chance, and that I can stay with her. No way! Brianna, that is not right. It can't be helped, and I can't blame anyone. No one forced me into this marriage. I chose to marry Carl myself, and I am choosing to put myself in this situation for my daughter, rather than running away. Listen to me. This can't be happening to you. None of this should be accepted in any family. I will help you get out of this hell. Just leave it to me. You don't have to tolerate them bullying you anymore. Oh, wow, Jessie, thank you. But what can you do? I don't see how I can get away from your mother or brother without sacrificing my daughter's future. And that is the last thing I want. Besides, you have your own family to take care of. You shouldn't waste any time for me. It's not a waste of time. I will not let this slide. You are suffering because my mother and brother are morons. If I don't do anything after knowing what they've been doing to you, I would be just as bad as them. And most importantly, I care for you. I will spend as much time as I need to help you. But, Jessie, I couldn't possibly ask you to. I would feel horrible if your relationship with them is ruined. I already feel horrible that my family has mistreated you. You have nothing to worry about. I will make sure the two of them pay for what they have done. But I will need a bit of time, so please hang tight just a bit longer. You and your daughter are going to be so much happier once you get out of that house. Oh my God, Jessie, I don't know what to say. I had lost all hope a while ago. I can't thank you enough. I will do as you say and act normal for the time being then. Hey, Mom! Guess what? I think you were right after all. What? What was I right about? About Brianna. You've told me many times about how you think she is weird. I think I see it now. She is kind of weird, isn't she? Oh, Jessie, you finally understand. See, I told you so. She is so weird. What did she do to make you understand, though? I'm sorry I never believed you. Okay, so what I saw was pretty funny. Remember I told you I saw her and her daughter swimming at the lake near our house? Yes, the one near our house where you used to swim as a little girl, right? What about it? Well, yesterday I saw her there again after I stopped by your place. But this time she was by herself, and she was doing that weird move I told you about. She was dunking herself in the water like a child. And it wasn't just once or twice, she kept doing it over and over again. It looked like she was pretending to be a mermaid or something, splashing her hair in and out of the water. A grown adult by herself at the lake, making funny moves. It was hilarious. Oh, wow. Well, that is very weird of her indeed. Did you ask her about it? About what? The dunk? You know, like the reason why she was at the lake by herself? Are you going to clarify why she was dunking herself? Of course not, Mom. What am I going to ask? Are you doing some kind of ritual in the water? I bet she would be so embarrassed. I could never ask. I wouldn't be able to keep a straight face. So you really haven't asked? If you spoke to her, you should tell me now. You shouldn't lie to me. What the hell, Mom? Why would I lie to you about something like this? Do you want me to ask her? Or is there something you want to tell me? No, nothing. I was just wondering if you spoke to her about it, that's all. Oh, but darling, I am so glad you finally see it. Brianna is crazy. Yes, Mom. I don't know why I didn't believe you before, but I do now. A decent person would not do anything like that. I was so embarrassed that my sister-in-law would do such a thing. I couldn't agree more. She is such an embarrassment to all of us. She does crazy things like that all the time. It's unbelievable. I totally see it now. To be honest, I didn't think she was crazy before, so I wasn't really listening to the episodes you've shared before. But now that I do, I want to know more about the crazy things she has done. I know you have so many stories about her, right? Stories about her? Well, yes, I guess I do. But her stories are boring, don't you think? Are you sure you want to waste your precious time on her? There really isn't anything entertaining about that woman. I feel like I've been fooled by her all along. I never saw the true side of her until now. But now I understand that the woman is crazy. So I thought maybe listening to your episodes again would help me prepare on how to communicate with her going forward. As a precaution, you know? Yes, I see. Perhaps you should be aware of what she has done in the past. Well then, we should sit down and talk about everything. It should help you learn what to do when you come across her craziness. Yes, let's do that. Poor Mom, you must be so stressed around her. You can tell me everything. I bet you are going to feel so much better after our talk. And it is going to be super helpful for me too, because I'll know what to expect the next time I see her. The truth is, Jessie, I have a lot more episodes than I have told you. I never told you everything because you seem to be fond of her. And I didn't want to interfere between you and her, so I kept some of it to myself. But now that you are aware of her craziness, I can tell you everything. This is going to take a while, though. Can you make time sometime this weekend? We are going to need a couple of bottles for this. Of course I can make time. Why don't I come by your place tomorrow? I will bring lots of bottles so that you can give me every piece. Jessie, are you there? Do you have any idea where Brianna is? Has she come by your place? What's going on? Is everything all right? That bitch disappeared from the house with her daughter. She didn't tell us anything about leaving. She hasn't even finished her work today. The kitchen is a mess and she hasn't even touched the laundry. I am so mad at that woman. She won't get away with this. Gee, too bad, Mom. Too bad doesn't cut it. You know how crazy she is. We have to find her. She might do something crazy again and get in trouble with the police. If that ever happens, it would be such a dishonor to our family. Well, if you are worried about her getting in trouble with the police, you don't have to. Because she is here with me. What? She is? Yep, with her daughter, of course. Oh, my goodness. I am so glad they are with you. What is she doing there? She better not be bothering you. She's not. I can't believe she left unannounced. How disrespectful of her. She is going to need a serious punishment so she doesn't do it again. She does? Yes, of course she does. She needs to be disciplined. What should the punishment be? It has to be something she won't forget. She will learn that such disrespect will not be tolerated in my house. How do you think I should punish her? I wonder what would be effective. Think about something harsh, or else she would forget because she is dumb like that. No, I can't think of any. Or shall I say, I won't think of any, because she is not the one who is going to get punished. It's you. We've prepared really well for our counterattack. I can't wait to see you get what you deserve. What are you talking about, Jessie? Why on earth would I get punished? And what do you mean, prepared? I am not following you. We've been preparing with Brianna's lawyer to sue you and Carl. You should be receiving a petition against you in no time. I actually owe you thanks for the other day. The task to collect evidence was so easy because you couldn't keep your mouth shut. You basically confessed all of your sins. Everything was recorded. All of it. Jessie, hold on a second. You are confusing me. Evidence? Recordings? What are you talking about? Mom, have you forgotten? You told me everything about Brianna the other day. Remember? All the episodes you've had with her and how you punished her. I told you because you wanted to hear it. Wait a minute. Did you trick me, Jessie? Did you make me talk on purpose? Absolutely. Why else would I ever want to listen to your sick stories? Why would you trick me, Jessie? Your own mother? Brianna told me that she's been bathing in the lake for the past couple of months. Jesus, I still need a minute to let those words sink in. Anyway, I promised her that I would help her get away from you and Carl. So yes, Mom, FYI, I did ask her why she was in the lake. I was acting like I never asked her to get you to talk. I'm still not following. Jessie, what are you trying to do? You said Brianna was weird too. You agreed with me. I'm saying it was all an act, dummy. I was simply playing along. I pretended to agree with you so that you would tell me everything you have done to her. I can't believe you actually believed my horrible acting. I have never thought that Brianna is weird. In fact, she is a polite, smart woman who is so dedicated to her daughter. You want to talk about who is weird? Well, Mom, that would be you, who makes their daughter-in-law bathe in the lake. Where the hell did you even get that stupid idea? What the hell, Jessie? How dare you mock your mother like that? You've got some nerve to disrespect me. You should support what I'm trying to do, which is to discipline her. Instead, you're going to go against me. So what are you going to do then, huh? Befriend that useless bitch for what? Are you going to become an enemy to your own mother and brother? We are your family. And I have never been so ashamed to call you people my family. I am still in disbelief that my mother and brother would mistreat someone as nice as Brianna. What you have been doing to her is cruel and abusive. You must have no brain if you can't imagine her despair of having to live with monsters like you two. To be clear, I am damn serious about getting her out. I am on her side, and if that means I have to fight you and Carl, so be it. Fight me and Carl? What is that supposed to mean? What are you going to do? First of all, Brianna is divorcing Carl, of course, and she will be suing both of you on several accounts. You should start looking for a lawyer if you don't have one already. That's an advice for you, as a final courtesy. Jessie, you're being too emotional about all this. She can't sue us. What's a recording of me telling the stories going to do? You think that's all we have on you? Think again. My recording might be a one-way conversation, but Brianna has more recordings to support it. She has audio of you and Carl actually saying horrible things to her. She also has multiple screenshots of when you have sent her disgusting messages. Brianna was recording our conversations? When? Where? That bitch! Oh, now you are worried, aren't you? You must have a couple of scenes in your mind that you know could get you in serious trouble. Well, you should be worried indeed, Mom. We have pretty good ones to support our case. Do you understand the position you are in now? We have tons of evidence and material, whereas you have none. You and Carl have already lost. Don't get too excited just yet, young lady. I don't think you and Brianna understand the position you are in. How so? Let's say you sue us and win. Brianna will get some money from us, but it will be a one-off payment that won't support her for much longer. She won't have a house to live in. And with a child, how the hell is she going to survive without Carl? I can easily imagine her begging Carl to take her back. She can't do anything without him. So, you see, nothing good is going to come out of a divorce or a lawsuit. Stop trying to look smart, both of you. Oh, but we are much smarter than you, because everything is already arranged for them, such as the house you are living in now. You are going to have to start packing because Brianna and her daughter are going to live there without you or Carl. Very funny, Jessie. I think you have lost your mind. This is my house. There is no way I will allow her to take over my property. Incorrect. That is not your property. It belongs to Grandma. She is the sole owner of that house and entire property. And if she wants to kick you out, she can very much do so. And let me tell you, Grandma knows the whole story, and she is furious. She has agreed to rent the house to Brianna for practically free. She said that this is the least she can do to make up for how Brianna has been treated. No, that can't be true. What have you done, Jessie? This is going to be their home? I am getting kicked out? Yep, Grandma and I are also going to help them get by until Brianna finds a job. And when she does, I will look after her daughter whenever they need. So, now that you know the plan, please begin to pack your belongings because you two are nothing but a nuisance to everyone else. Jessie, darling, you are my daughter. I have been through unimaginable pain to bring you into this world. Perhaps so. Surely you won't betray your beloved mother. If she is in need of help, you should most definitely help her, as a good child, right? So please, help me. Hell no! You and Carl have gone too far, but you are not even sorry about it, are you? I have never been so embarrassed and so ashamed that my own family would bully someone. I disown you and Carl. I don't want to have anything to do with you anymore, so I will not help you, no matter what. You and Carl are going to have to help yourselves. Come on, don't be a stranger. If what you are saying is true, I'm going to get kicked out of this house. You are actually okay with that? How are we going to survive without a roof? Would you let your own mother become homeless? Oh, Mom, you'll be fine. Just go find a tent or something. And Brianna told me that there are quite a lot of fish these days, so you won't have any trouble finding food. You should be glad it's not wintertime yet. Fish? What fish? What are you talking about? It's not a good time to be joking around. I'm not joking, Mom. You told Brianna to go wash herself in the lake. You suggested it because you thought that wasn't such a bad idea, right? So why don't you try the lake too? Go see if you can live by the water. Have fun out there with Carl, Mom. I'm sure surviving won't be so difficult since the two of you have each other. I can't wait to see you in court. I hope the punishment will be something harsh. Or else you'll forget because you are dumb like that. Brianna filed for divorce immediately after. She used every piece of evidence we collected together and sued Carl and my mother on multiple accounts, including abusive behavior. The court saw the toxic environment Brianna and her daughter had been in and ruled in their favor fairly quickly. Brianna won a satisfying amount of money from them, as well as child support that helped them get by for a while. As previously warned, my furious grandmother kicked the two nutheads out of the house so that Brianna and her daughter could live there under a minimum fee. I have no idea where the two of them are now, but I am fine keeping that a mystery for the rest of my life. Brianna, being the smart woman that she has always been, quickly found a job and now works full-time. As a single mother, she sometimes has difficulty balancing between work and her time with Emma, but she works very hard to support her daughter. Since the incident, Brianna and I have established a very tight bond, and now look after each other's children whenever necessary. Now that Brianna and Carl are divorced, we may not be family on legal terms anymore, but I will always think of her as my sister, and will continue to do anything possible for them to stay happy. Mason, are you going to be coming home late from work again today?
Yes, I have a meeting to go to for work safety. So go ahead and eat dinner before me.
All right. Hey, I got yet another message from your mom today.
Is she going on about you having kids?
Yeah, asking when she'd get to see some grandkids. I had brought this up to you before, but can you make sure to let her know not to bother me so much about that? Having her try and talk to me about it again and again is getting a bit tiresome for me. It's like she's on my shoulder nagging about something that's near impossible for me. But she never wants to accept my answers.
My mom is really rude, isn't she? You're already 39 years old now, so she should know that it's too late for you to have kids now and just needs to give up.
I haven't given up on having kids yet, though. We both know that there's been a lot going on with me, and it's been an uphill battle this whole time.
Wait. You only have a little while longer until you're 40. If you haven't been able to have any babies yet, it's pretty much over for you.
Even if that's true, I still want to try for a bit longer.
Saying you want to try for a bit longer is a waste. There was no point in you going through all those treatments for your infertility, right? You're better off just giving up on all that and using the time you have left going out and focusing on you.
It was just that the timing and the things like that were off with the treatments I received. I still am working on battling my infertility, and so the next time I get the go-ahead, I'll need you there to help me.
Huh? You need me during your next chance? I don't want to, though.
If you can just try with me one last time, we can see if things work out. If not, then I'll give up on all of this myself. Please. I really feel that this year, if I try hard enough, I'll have a really good chance of becoming pregnant.
Are you just trying that hard because of everything my mom's been saying to you?
I mean, that is a part of it, but a small part. But there are much bigger reasons too. I want to have a kid with you, Mason. Do you not want any kids?
It's not that I don't want any kids of my own, but they aren't gonna make it or break it in our relationship. So not having any doesn't really bother me much. I feel that it just being you and I forever can be a great life as well. Are you getting tired of it just being you and me, and that's why you're pushing so hard to have a baby?
That's not how I feel about us. I just feel that by having a kid or two, things between us could be even more joyful. And another thing is that I feel us giving up right now might leave us with lots of regrets later. I know all sorts of people that really regret not trying, but they're already too old to do anything about it. And I don't want us to be in that same situation. I understand there's nothing that can be done if I can't become pregnant. But if there's even a small chance that I can become pregnant, I want to continue trying.
Alright, Alex. Then this'll be our last year of trying. If we can't make it happen by the end of the year, we're done trying. Having to go through all this infertility treatment with you, it's tiring for us men and a bit of a hassle.
I know. Thank you for understanding me, though. I'll let the hospital know that the next time I'm in, you'll be coming along as well.
But I have things going on myself. Don't expect that on my days off I'll have time to come with you to see the doctor and such.
Okay. If we can get in this month, when would work for you?
Huh? This month? Don't you feel we're jumping the gun here?
If I only have a year left, I'd like to get things started with the treatments right now. Because they all usually take a few months, and if I manage to become pregnant, that'll be another 9 months of having to carry the baby. Time is only passing by at this point, and we're losing valuable days.
I don't think I can make this month work. I have all sorts of plans on my schedule. And I've already offered to cover another coworker's time off for him, so I can't pull out of that now.
Then, can you tell me later what days are still open for you next month? Then I'll be able to make an appointment on time and not have to worry about there being no openings.
I don't have any information on next month's schedule just yet.
Well, even if you don't have a concrete schedule, can you give me some dates that might work? It's not that we have to go on that exact date, but it'd be a good idea to at least put a date in and have a spot reserved.
Huh? I'll tell you soon. But there is a chance that I might not be able to make it work on that date, so don't get upset with me.
Alright, I promise I won't. Thank you, Mason. I know that this is a lot of work for you, but together we can make all of this happen. Mason, listen! I was able to become pregnant!
Huh? Seriously?
Yes, finally! It has taken us so long to get to this point, right? Thank you so much for being there with me through all of this. But don't tell your mom just yet until we have an expectancy date.
Hey, Alex? Do you plan to still give birth to that baby?
Yeah? Why would you ask me such a trivial question?
I'm sorry. I didn't really think that you'd be able to become pregnant. So right now I'm very shocked.
By this point in my life, a lot of people would have given up, right? But after all our hard work, we've been able to have a miracle. So I'm going to see my pregnancy through and have this baby. I'm so very happy for all of this.
Are you sure that's okay? Having a baby at your age, you had to have a lot of strength to give birth to that baby, and I'm not sure you'll last.
I know that it'll all take a lot out of me, but I'm ready to fight for my baby. I know that right now I'm on the tail end of being the age to have babies, but to make sure that I can have the baby, I'm going to start going to the gym and building up some muscle and training my heart.
By the time that baby turns 20, you and I are going to be retired.
That's right. So we have to make sure that we both start working out more so that we can stay active and healthy longer.
No, that's not what I was talking about. I'm just wondering, with the way things are between us, is it okay to have that baby?
What do you mean by that?
Well, everyone around us is all young and having their kids. 40-year-old woman having a baby is almost unheard of.
But I feel that it's a lot less rare for that to happen before.
I just wonder if this will be rough on our child. Having your own parents become elderly while you're still young.
How about we just don't think about that and work hard to enjoy a happy life together?
This isn't some kind of drama. And as for you and I, we have to think about more than just our family. Right now, I'm sure you don't want to think about it, but soon you might have to.
You don't have to talk about that as though it'd be wrong for us. Aren't you happy to see that I'm pregnant now?
To be real with you, I'm just thinking it's better for us that you don't have that baby.
Uh-huh. Why, though? Why would you think something like that now?
I said it just a second ago, but I didn't expect that you'd actually get pregnant. I just assumed that the treatments wouldn't work and that you'd end up quitting on all of it. That's why I tried a little more to help you along.
What the heck? So that's how you felt while helping me?
I'm sorry. I just thought that by helping you through that last part, you'd feel better about giving up. And I'm totally fine with our family being just the two of us.
I'm going to have this baby, Mason.
Please think about it a bit more. Do you really think that by having that baby now, it'll be able to live a happy life?
But this is the baby that we've worked so hard to have. So I can't just let it go now after the miracle I've been given.
I'm sorry for talking about this while you're so happy to be pregnant. But in the end, I think I'm against you having that baby.
Don't say things like that, please.
We're back home. How about you and I discuss this one more time?
All right. But know that I'm having this baby whether you like it or not. I'm not going to be swayed from my choice. Mason, the whole reason you've been against me having this baby is because you have been having an affair, right?
Huh? What are you going on about now? I think you're just freaking out a bit too much now that you've been told not to have that baby. Stop trying to make things up now to make yourself look like a victim.
This isn't me making up anything, Mason. I had someone look into you a bit deeper after we first discussed the baby. And they came back to me letting me know that for a year now you've been cheating on me.
Really? What, do you have proof of this?
You don't want to admit it, do you?
Well, it's your fault for not being able to have a baby for me sooner. My mom has been on me for years now asking me to show her a grandchild.
And that's your reason for cheating?
Well, younger and more healthy women than you have much higher chances of bearing a baby for me. And at this point, if I'm gonna get married again, I want it to be with a younger woman.
Then why did you work with me through all of those treatments?
I told you before, right? I assumed that you'd never actually be able to get pregnant. I thought that by being there to help you, you'd eventually give up on all that. And then when you told me you'd given up, I could use that as my excuse for divorcing you. That's why I helped you. Well, unfortunately, things have become a whole lot more complicated now.
Unfortunately? Don't say things like that about me becoming pregnant.
But I didn't think things would work out with you. You're only just now getting pregnant. You're almost 40 years old. I'd at least enjoy hearing a thank you from you or for giving up a lot of my salary caring for you after we married when you never had a job of your own.
You're the worst, Mason.
Say whatever you like. But with that, don't have that baby. If you do still decide to have it, I'm not gonna be its father. And actually, before you do have that baby, I'm going to divorce you.
I became pregnant with this baby while we've been married, so you'll still legally have to be its father. And I already told you that the baby is coming.
Well, even if that's the case, I'm not going to do anything for you two. It's your fault for still having the baby when I'm telling you that I won't be its father. And to be very real, you're far too old to be having a baby, so it'll probably die for some sort of birth defect, right? Is that what you want happening?
No matter what kind of baby it is, I'm giving birth to it.
Is that correct? Well, if you do still have it and it's able to survive, I'm still not going to be paying child support for it. If you don't promise to let me leave and not pay anything to you guys, I'm going to beat the crap out of you when you get home.
Are you kidding me?
Not at all. Just when I was getting ready to divorce you, you had to become pregnant and start looking into me. At this point, I wish I never even married you in the first place. Maybe you've only been with me because you want my money.
Shut up. I don't even want you to pay child support for a kid you don't care about. Once we've divorced, I'm getting out of this house right away. But be aware that after that, you are to never come around me or my kid ever again.
And that is totally fine with me. I'm sure your age having to raise a baby as a single mother is gonna be hell. Don't come asking me for any help. I'm gonna be marrying a young and beautiful woman soon. And I think she'll be able to have a baby for the two of us very easily compared to you. I hope you can have your baby as well, though. Although you might find it a bit too stressful at your age having to care for it all day and night. Alex, it's been a while. Actually, can you tell me where you've gone off to? I just ran into you a second ago, but you instantly ran off. This is my new phone number, so make sure to save it under my contact. And if you're just gonna ignore me, I might as well just delete your contact info as well.
Stop trying to mess with me.
I'm not trying to mess with you. If you feel that I am, then maybe we should talk a little.
You ended up changing your phone number.
I did change it, but I made sure to keep all your contact info on me. And thank goodness that I didn't end up throwing your info away. I was just starting to get a little worried that I forgot your phone number and all.
So, what do you still want with me? You are just a stranger to me now, so I don't have time for games.
I'm your ex-husband, so stop trying to give me the cold shoulder. And also, I was surprised. You have turned into a fine-looking piece of woman. Compared to the woman you were when we divorced, you are like a goddess.
Oh, is that so?
What does that reply? You may have turned into a fine woman, but your character's only gone downhill now.
I'm not in the mood to talk with you anymore, so can we call it here? We promised back then to never talk to one another again, right? So I'll be going.
Hey, wait. That kid that you have right now is pretty famous, right? Is that the kid you gave birth to back then? And are you the manager right now since you're their mother?
I wouldn't be able to lie to you now because you'd figure it out eventually. That is, in fact, my daughter.
No way! So that really is the kid from back then. I suppose that would make sense considering the age she looks. Go and tell her all about me, being her father.
What? I never gave birth to your kid.
Huh? That baby you became pregnant with before we divorced. Did you end up not having it?
I did have that baby. But what I'm saying is that after the divorce, I no longer viewed you as the baby's dad.
What the heck? I was a bit afraid for a second there. I knew that girl you had with you looked a bit like me.
Well, even if you think so, she's got nothing to do with you. We promised to never be around one another ever again, right? So stop with all of this conversation, please.
Well, look, since you and I divorced, I've had a lot of time to think about it. Thinking about why such a bad thing happened between us.
Is that so?
And after you left, I got married to that younger woman. But she turned out to be a complete waste of my time. Just before we were gonna get married, she told me she had married another man.
Well, that's what you get after cheating on me, right?
And ever since she left me, I've been living all by my lonesome. And every day, my mom was still going at me for not bringing her a grandchild yet. And when I asked her to introduce me to some woman that I could have a baby with, all she brought for me were these ugly-looking hags. And so, for the past 9 years, I've been on my own.
Oh?
And I'm sure things have been tough for you, right? Being a single mom having to raise that girl? You've had to work a ton while also caring for that kid all along. Leaving you with no downtime, right? But maybe you've been doing fine since you have a child star as a kid.
I haven't changed one bit, and I'm still working a full-time job. And I'm making sure to not make my daughter do any more work than she's happy to do.
Well, even if the two of you are doing okay in that aspect, you're still having to work too much, right? At this point in time, you and I are now 50 years old. So I'm sure that having to raise and care for her all on your own has been backbreaking. Hey, Alex, do you think that you and I could try getting back together? After all, your daughter's father is single again, so you can have me back there helping to take care of her. So from now on, let's you and I get back together and make a happy family of 3.
Well, Mason, I'm sorry to have to break it to you while you're having such a fun time explaining all of that to me. But I'm married now. I have been doing a great job raising my daughter, and she has her father here as well helping her out. So I'm not in any sort of trouble like you think. I'm having the best time of my life every day with my family.
You got married? With who? He has to be pretty screwed in the head for wanting to get married to an old woman who already has a kid. I know that he's only with you for the money and for that little girl of yours.
You're the only man I see going after my money. My husband is making at least 10 times the amount of money I am, so you don't have to worry about him. And he's being an amazing father to my daughter as though she were his own blood.
But I would love you and your daughter a whole lot more than he could.
You think so? Even though after 10 years of never contacting me about either of us? And when you haven't even been paying child support for her? If you actually had any love for her or me, then you would have been doing something with that love. All you're doing right now is being a pain in the butt by thinking that you have the right to be her father.
But whether you like it or not, I'm a real father, right?
You and I both made an agreement that we'd never talk to one another again after the divorce, right? So, because of that, we don't think of you as her father.
Does that have to do with anything now? Let me see my daughter! If you don't let me see her, I'm gonna go on social media and start ruining both of your guys' images!
The only person that'll regret doing something like that is you. And if you still feel like you want to go online and start spreading lies about us, I'll have to take you to court over defamation.
But that girl is my daughter, and I have a right to see her!
Who cares? You were the one that cheated on and divorced me. And my husband right now cares enough about my daughter that he views himself as the real father.
But just let me see her! I'm her real father by blood, so you cannot say no to me! I bet you're afraid of her saying that she wants me to live with her!
After all that you've put her and I through, you will not be allowed to see her. You didn't even bother to pay for her care, so you're nothing more than a stranger to us. But if you really still feel as though I'm being unfair here, then go get yourself a lawyer and take me to court over it. I'll allow you the enjoyment of seeing how little you can do against the law.
Come on, Alex! Let's you and I just meet up and talk this through.
What do you want to talk about? The moment you and I ended our marriage, you become a complete stranger. What do I have to say to you to get you to understand that?
I am actually really regretting ever letting you go.
And so what? I have a new husband now, and the only reason that you've come to me now after all those years is because you're having financial issues, right?
Huh? What are you talking about? That's not the reason I'm talking to you now!
I've heard all about you from others in town. After things between you and that woman soured, you began to go out with other women from strip clubs and such. But to keep those whores around with you after losing your younger woman, you went into debt paying all of them.
Who told you all that?
Why does it matter who told me? I have heard all about you and the situation you've made for yourself. But that whole time you never knew a thing about what's been going on with me. And that's perfect because I've heard that all your friends that you've had and others that trusted you began to leave after you started asking them for help.
But you should be the #1 person that understands my situation now, right? When you needed help as badly as I do now, I came to your side and helped you make that girl.
And you were the one that left me when I was at my most vulnerable and needed you. Why are you trying to make it seem like you saved me back then? The only person I see as being there to help me was my husband. And even now, he's so kind and affectionate that he's willing to understand why I was so destroyed back then. Even my daughter calls him the #1 dad, and we have made a beautiful family.
Well, if you're so happy, at least give me some money.
Money? You're the one that should be giving me money. You're in that much trouble now that you're just going to ask me for money like that?
This is about the money we should have split the divorce. Now give me what I deserve. Have to think about how the divorce set it up. I feel I didn't get a fair amount. But I let you take all that money because you had to raise that baby on your own. Now that you have a husband that has a ton of money, you can pay me what I wanted back then.
You really are the most hilarious idiot I've ever met. In the terms of our divorce, the properties we split wouldn't be acknowledged until 2 years after the divorce.
Huh? Is that so?
Even after 10 whole years, you haven't become any less useless than you were before. You really are the biggest disgrace.
Alex, I really want to make things right between us.
And I've thought that with all my heart that you divorcing me was the best thing ever. You laughed at me back then because I'd become a single mother, right? Yet, right now, the one who's suffering the most is who? At the age you're at, asking a woman to get back together with you because you're in so much debt is disgusting. Never ever talk to me again. Immediately after that, I went and blocked Mason's number on my phone. And with the thought of him trying to take some kind of action against me, I spoke with my husband and we made a few plans up. With the money he has, we were able to get a lawyer that we worked with to make sure that what might come next could be handled with no damages to us. But even after a few months have passed by, there has been nothing from Mason that made us worry. I never ran into him again outside the house, and so I'm starting to think he just left town. Or has become a NEET within his own home. I feel as though what really happened with Mason back then is that his younger woman may have heard about what's happened to us, and that's what drove her to find another man quickly. I'm sure that now that it's been 10 years for him without any luck, there's no chance of him getting married again. I've heard that he's now back home living with his mom. And to pay back all of the debt he's in, he has to live with her while slowly making all that money back. And as for his pushy mom, she's now bothering him even more about the grandchild that'll never come, as well as about all the debt he's in. But I'll be honest, for a man in his 50s, I don't think he'll ever be financially free ever again. And if he is close to breaking free from his debts, I'm sure another thing will come along to put him right back into that hole. As for me, I'm on the opposite side of the spectrum from him, living a wonderful life with my cute daughter and loving husband. My daughter has a lot of work that she needs to get done as part of being a star, which means my life is also very busy. But I think she's going to be taking a break for a little while after this year. Once this year is over and she graduates elementary school, my husband will be retiring from his job and we'll all be moving overseas. I'll also end my job there and be a housewife taking care of her husband and daughter while relaxing. My daughter said that she might take a break for the rest of her schooling, and so we'll make sure that while she's studying, she continues to train in the performing arts in case one day she does want to get back into being a star. Although our lives are very busy and full of plans now, I find it much better than what the future could have been like with Mason as my husband. I'll make sure to keep my family happy and healthy for the rest of my life, and to never forget that all this was made possible due to my ex's selfishness. I really look forward to what comes next for my family. Hannah, I heard some things from my husband about your daughter there. Mai is going to be getting married. How's it going, Lisa? That's right. I was able to meet with her fiancé just last month and got to know about him a little more and about what he does for work. Don't you think that's a little strange that he'd be meeting you all first and you'd never say a thing to me? Why am I having to hear about all of this from my husband about your daughter getting married? Why would all of this be going through my husband first before I was ever aware of any of it? I'm sorry about that. I was thinking about having you meet her fiancé and telling you the news, but Maya's good friends with your husband. And when he came here last time, she might have told him the news in person. After all, she sees him at least once per month, and they like to go out to lunch and talk about life and everything that's been happening to them. And that's what I'd expect from your daughter. She'd rather talk to him more than her own grandma, just like you. Why do you all keep me out of the loop so often, after all the work I've done? I don't think that it's out of any spite towards you though, Lisa. It might just be that she happens to share a lot of interests with him. The both of them do really love to be around one another a lot, right? So it only makes sense that she tells him first. It's been a long time since you both last met, and Mai doesn't really text or anything like that much, so she wouldn't have thought to text you about it. But I've been the one that's given her the most attention compared to anyone else. When she needed help studying, I've been there to help teach her all sorts of things. You make a good point. And I'm thankful for all that you've helped her with. But in her case, she's a busy woman, and so she doesn't always think to tell everyone about things the moment they happen. She's getting around to sending the invitations for the wedding soon, so you would have found out eventually. Well, I guess me putting in all that effort was all for nothing in the end. I was so hopeful for her future because she's just as smart as my son. But then you guys let her go to a trade school instead of into university. I think that's a huge waste of money that you've just caused right there. And now she's going to lose all the potential she had. I'm sorry. But even after that, Mai has been doing great with the job she's found. So saying that we wasted all of that money, well, it's a bit rude, especially when you don't really go out to see the person she's become now. She's doing great, huh? She ended up giving up on her job in the fashion industry, right? And that's the reason she needs to get married now, right? I knew that would happen because nobody cares about hiring for the fashion industry anymore. No. She is still young and full of energy. And she's still working hard in her career of being a fashion designer. And I've heard from her that even after having kids, she still plans to work in the field so that she can enjoy what she loves doing. I think she's been into fashion all her life now, and has even studied a lot of it in her free time while she was still in middle and high school. So her giving up on it over money or anything like that doesn't seem like the kind of thing she'd be willing to do. Even though she's never going to have a chance to be rich now, right? These days, designing clothing is such a low-paying job. And most of the time, the people mass-producing the clothing in factories are making more than those that actually try to create some sort of new fashion line. Well, that all depends on what company she's a part of and what she's designing. She might just end up like my mother and be so good at fashion design that she even opens up a business of her own. If she manages something like that, then she can be her own boss and have a good chance of becoming rich. But remember, I think she'd be more into this line of work because she loves to design clothing. And so if the pay isn't that great, she's going to continue doing it. Look, back then designing clothing was a huge deal, and so your mom had the luck of opening a business. But these days, trying to do something like that will only drive her into debt. There's no way she can do what was done back then. The times have changed. But it is nice that your mother plans to leave a lot of money when she passes for all of us. And I'm thankful for that. Oh, don't tell me that Mai is doing all that work now like your mother because of the money she will leave behind. Maybe that's why she wants to become a fashion designer like her. That way your mom will take a bigger interest in her and fork her over a bit more money in the will. I don't think that's the reason Maya's going into the field. She's been into fashion longer than she's known about my mom's money, so... Who knows though, right? After all, she is the daughter of someone that never went to school. So she has to find easy ways to get money like you did. Now that I think about it, your mom really spoiled you back when you were growing up, right? Really, I feel so bad for Mai that she's turned out more like you than my son. She could have gone to a wonderful university and studied in something that would have gotten her a well-paying job like her father. I think that Mai has a lot in common with her dad, though. I'm awful at things like fashion or arts, unlike he is. He's the kind of guy that's always been really good at designing and crafting things. And that's because my son is good at everything. And that's why he's working for a famous company now and making the money that you get to live off. Him being able to take care of you after all the mistakes you've made is due to me being a great mother for him. I suppose that could be so. Thank you for raising him. If you want to show your thanks towards me, then you should do a bit more than just say it. Take me out on vacations with you guys, or give me presents every now and again. You should be doing a lot more for me, actually. Right now, my life is becoming a bit tight, as my husband's not making much anymore. Your mother has all that money, so maybe it's time you start to give us an allowance in advance before you get a lot more in her will. Or at least take me overseas somewhere nice for a change, so that I can really see how much you feel thankful for me. Is that what you want? But at the moment, we are a bit tight ourselves. Right, because Amai is going to be getting married soon, right? Right now, most young people don't have a lot of money, and so I'm sure her and her fiancé don't have much to spend on their wedding. That's too bad. You happen to raise a daughter that's going to cause you all sorts of trouble. I'm sure you already know this, but my son never took any of our money his whole life. He was never needy and asked for lots of toys. And when he went to university, he was on a full-ride scholarship, so we didn't have to do anything for him then either. And when you both had your wedding, your mom and him paid for it, right? You never spent a penny on it. I knew it. That the future of one's child all depends on how amazing the mother is. I think that my fiancé is doing his best right now, and that him and her will make something work. Okay, I get it. I won't bother the two of you anymore, but I'll keep praying that some of that money from your mom comes for all of you as soon as it's distributed by her lawyer. Hannah, I just got that invitation from Mai regarding her wedding. What is up with this? Did something happen to it? I know that sometimes the mail service can be a bit rough with envelopes. So, if it's all bent or something, let me know and I'll have her send you guys a new one. I'm questioning the place that she'll be having her wedding at. That place is insanely pricey because of how famous it is. I've seen all sorts of documentaries about it on the TV, and I know that it takes 1-2 years in advance to get reservations there, right? Now that you mention it, she did tell me about how nice the wedding hall will be. But she told me that every so often someone will cancel and the date will open up. She was super lucky, wasn't she? Do you know how much it'll cost to afford a place like that? I haven't really talked with her yet about the cost of having a wedding there. I know for a fact that it'll at least be $30,000 just to have the reservation for the place. Then you have to think about the cost of the decor there that they'll want. And I'm sure the food will cost even more than the rest of the wedding combined. By then, you're looking at over $80,000 on that wedding. Is that so? You know a whole lot about that place, huh, Lisa? What is with that remark? Do you think that a price like that isn't extremely high? I get that you've had everything handed to you all your life, but some of us actually understand money and that it doesn't grow on trees. Well, whether it is or isn't, this is a once-in-a-lifetime thing for most people. So I think it's perfectly fine to let them have their special day where they'd like to have it, and spend as much as they're willing to. That's far too much money for two kids that don't have much. Are you and my son really going to be able to afford a place like that? And I heard that her dress is going to be crafted by a very well-known dressmaker. You all are acting crazy right now. Well, she was able to find that place by being a fashion designer herself. So, of course, she'd like to have someone she knows she can trust to be the ones making her dress. It's because of you having your head in the clouds that your daughter has chosen a place that expensive. I'm telling you right now that the wedding she's having is too much. You guys should be trying to help her by having a more realistic wedding, right? And if you have the ability to afford all of this with my son's earnings, then you have enough money to give me and my husband a monthly allowance. This and that are two very different things. There's nothing different between them. If you have all of that money right now, then you should be giving it to me. Are you really having that much of a financial struggle? The last time I met with you, you told me how much high-brand accessories you had bought from the mall. I bought all of them because they had gone on sale. With whatever I had in my savings, I was only able to get 2 necklaces and a coat. And my husband has told me that we can't go on vacation this year. Do you not feel bad for me? If you have that kind of money to buy all those branded things, even if on sale, then I don't really think I need to feel bad for you. Hannah, don't tell me you like to watch as the elderly struggle to stay happy and alive. Especially when I'm your own mother-in-law. You're asking me to live the rest of my life like I'm living in poverty. No, that's not at all what I want to see. I'm just saying that if you're able to buy things that are really expensive and have to give up a vacation for that, that seems pretty reasonable to me. I don't have a reason to have to give up a vacation just because I wanted these things, right? I cannot believe the way you're thinking of me right now. If you're willing to waste all of that money on someone that has no future with their fiancé, then you should be able to support my husband and I financially. All right? I'm asking you to give me some money right now. And you tell my son all of this as well for me. Lisa, what have you gone and done? Why did you think it was okay to do something so vile leading up to my daughter's wedding? What? I don't know what you're talking about. Stop trying to play dumb with me. I'm talking about what you did to my daughter's dress. What happened to Mai's wedding dress? I just got a call from one of the employees at the wedding hall. She told me that the dress she'd been preparing for Mai was all torn up and ruined. Oh? Oh no, that's not good at all. Well, now that her beautiful, handmade dress has been ruined, she'll have to cancel her wedding tomorrow, right? That dress was supposed to be the spotlight of the wedding, right? This was all because of you, right? You're the one that came and tore it up. And what are you saying right now to your own mother-in-law? Who is being the vile one right now? I have evidence that you did it. There are security cameras in place all around the wedding hall. There is video of you coming into the hall through the back emergency exit. Are you sure that's not someone else that happens to look a little like me? They say there are at least 3 people in the world that end up looking similar to one another. Is that so, Lisa? Well, if I have to call the police to come and look, I'm sure we can figure everything out. I should have them look into this now, right? You're going too far asking the police to come for something like that. Then you need to comply with me. I don't want things going too crazy during one of the most important weeks for Mai. Alright, look. I just wanted to come in and make her dress look even more amazing than it already was for her. It's an older style of wedding dress that I've made for her. That wasn't your intention, Lisa. This is all because you were upset that my husband and I said no to giving you any money when you asked us, right? What? So that's what you figured? And now you've harmed Mai, when she had nothing to do with it. She is your son's daughter, your granddaughter. Well, your daughter having a dress that beautiful is too much. And having the wedding at a place like that is just outright stupid. You need to learn where to draw the line. But it's because you didn't stop her from choosing a place like that and getting that dress this has happened. You're done for, Lisa. The one that made that dress for mine was my mother. Uh-huh. She made that for her? That has to be a lie, right? I'm not lying. Her and my mom worked together to make up a design for it. And then my mom went ahead and made that all by herself. And now, none of us are going to forgive you for what you've done. And of course, your son and me feel that same way. And what is your mother even going to be able to do about this? She's in her 80s now and on her way out, right? Her being upset with me isn't going to scare me. You haven't spoken or met with her in a very long time now, so you have no idea what's been going on with her. She may not come out of the house much anymore, but that doesn't mean that she's been on her deathbed. And I think she has the power to make you understand that. No matter what a grandma like her could try and do, I'm not going to lose to her. Tell her to not get too worked up over this or she might end up injuring herself, okay? All right then. Don't forget about anything that's been said today, okay? Also, do not bother coming to the wedding tomorrow. If you do manage to still come, you will be kicked out. Uh-huh, but the wedding tomorrow should be getting canceled now, right? What is Mai going to do for a dress now? She had some other dresses she'd been working on. And so right now, all of them are working together to finish up a new dress for her to wear tomorrow. They're all pros after all, so they'll make it happen. Oh no, making her grandma do all that work for her is going to be detrimental to her health, right? I think this might be the last dress your mother ever works on. And as for the wedding, I never planned on coming in the first place, so don't worry about me. I never wanted to celebrate her marriage at all. Hannah, I have something to ask of you. Can I have you come between me and your mother? Lisa, do you really think that I'm going to come and help you? You went and destroyed my daughter's dress that was made by her grandma for her. And right now, I've really started to regret all of that. And later, I'd like to go to Mai and tell her I'm sorry about that. And you think you should be apologizing to Mai before you apologize to my mom? Ah, that's right. I'm sorry. I'll be apologizing to the both of them after I took things a little overboard. Are you saying that you want to apologize only because your husband is asking to divorce you? So you know about all of that now? I do. Right after the wedding was over, your husband came up to us, and we all talked about what he was going to do about you. I'm sorry, but I don't think that my loving husband would ever really want to divorce me over something as meaningless as this. This is all happening because of your mom, right? No, this is what he wants. My mom only asks that he do so as soon as possible, because she expects that you might go out of control if he doesn't get rid of you in the next couple of weeks. So she was pretty much making him think about divorcing me. Nope. This whole time your husband has been worried about how much money you use. My mom was able to open a business of her own and has a lot of money at her disposal. But in your husband's case, he's just a normal employee, and so he doesn't have the kind of money my mom has. Yet, you continued to think that one day my mom would pass, that the money would come from her and I'd be willing to give some of it to you. And that's why you've been overspending. Well, that's because back in the day your mother spoiled you so much with her money. And so I thought that when she passed, you'd be the same way and spoil me with that money. My mom has only been spoiling me with money so that I could use it to make sure that Mai was raised in a great home. But in your case, you don't know how to spend your money that you get from your husband, and just spend it all on clothing and accessories. And after your husband learned that you wouldn't stop buying unnecessary things, he stopped giving you money. Shut the hell up! People that have a lot of money should be okay with giving others their money to spend. And I'm all of your family. And it's because you are family that we shouldn't have to give you money that you'll just end up wasting. And from what I've heard as well, you barely even do any chores in your house and just go out to play with all your time. So, do you really think my husband and I want to give you any money now? I'm not just using all the money on myself, though. I made sure back in the day to give the money my husband gave me to my son so that he could go to a good school. And that was all to get him into a famous university so that one day you could use him as something to brag about to all your friends, right? That's how your son has always thought of the relation he had with you. And I was also there to pay for Mai to get lessons in piano and ballet, right? I even introduced her to some very amazing teachers. Mai was never into piano or ballet though, Lisa. All you did was waste your money forcing her to go to something she didn't care about. And as for those amazing teachers you found for her, they barely knew how to teach her the way she learned, so that was another waste. I thought that I was helping by doing all of that for her. My husband and I told you to stop plenty of times though, right? Yet you never once listened to either of us. Hey, do you really think it's okay for my husband to want a divorce now? I have been trying my best to be a good wife and mother. Well, it seems he's had enough of your selfishness. And you pushed him to his limit when you chose to destroy his granddaughter's dress. So I think him throwing you away is the right thing to do now. Hannah, I will change my ways from now on. I'll even make sure that any money I get from you guys now goes into my savings and is used on only necessary things. And I'll no longer say rude things to you. And I'll think about Mai more and apologize to her for what I've done. So, can we find some way to allow me one last chance to change my ways? I don't even need your mom to forgive me, just as long as I have the chance to show her that I can be better. The reason you don't want your husband to leave you isn't because of love or anything like that. You just want to stay a part of the family so that you can have some of whatever money my mom leaves when she passes, right? I've made sure to tell everyone that you've been eyeing her money. So stop thinking that we're going to give you any more chances to be a part of this family. I'm so sorry. Please, I'll do anything you ask of me, so help. If I'm divorced at this point in my life, I'll never be able to make it on my own. Well, this is what has happened after the path you choose to take. And the rest of the family has no more hope of you being a decent human being in our family. So go ahead and finish the rest of your life somewhere where you'll never get in the way of us again. From there, Lisa and her husband had a divorce, and her husband left the house that they had both been living in. The house was the one part of her divorce that her husband was willing to give her. And even though she kept asking for some of his money, his lawyer said that the house was worth more than what she deserved. She may have thought that after so many years of being married to him, she would at least get a large amount of money in a divorce. But because of the dress that she had ruined, which would be considered vandalism, the lawyer said it was being charged with that or get nothing else from her husband. She ended up selling their house after the divorce and made quite a bit for it in today's housing market. But it still wouldn't be enough to help her have a happy life with however many years she has left. So if she can't find a way to get a job or someone willing to marry her at the age she's at, she won't be around for much longer before being on the streets. Also, after the divorce, Lisa's husband, my mom, and the rest of us all blocked her number and cut ties from her. But every so often, we hear from her friends or others that we know as well as her that she will ask them for help. But unfortunately for her, there isn't one person willing to help her with money after the story they've all heard. I'm not sure what'll happen to Lisa going into the future, but what we do know is that she'll never be allowed to talk to any of us ever again. I'm not sure how much us not helping her or even talking to her has ruined her life, but it's what she gets for acting the way she did around us. As for my father-in-law, we had been talking with him, asking if he'd like to move in with us since our daughter would now be living with her husband. But just before we had settled to have him move in, my mom said that she'd provide a house for him to move into. Although not as big as the last house he had. My mom jokes a little about how she didn't want him ruining our privacy after we'd finally gotten rid of our daughter. But really, it was so kind of her to do something like that for him. And I still cannot believe that my daughter and all her coworkers and my mom were able to manage getting her a new dress in time for her wedding. Even though Lisa almost ruined what was my daughter's beautiful day, it was great to see she didn't ruin it and that Mai was able to still smile on her wedding day. As for the real reason that I had never given any money to Lisa when she was still around us, it's to do with my mom and my husband always telling me to never give her anything. And I never got to tell Lisa this, but we never paid for her wedding either. Rather, it was all paid for by Mai and her husband. But had Lisa known that Mai and her husband had the money to pay for all of that, she may have tried to start begging them and harassing them for their money. And so, I'm so happy that I never let that information slip to her. Or else things might have turned out a bit worse for us all. I think that right now a lot of younger people are having a hard time with money and handling the world they're entering into. And so if my daughter did ask for our help paying for the wedding, I wouldn't have even thought to say no to her. And just to make sure that if she ever does need some help from us, that we have money saved up just in case. I don't think it's a bad thing at all to get financial help from your parents or family every once in a while. But to abuse it like Lisa tried to do will only put you into hell.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel.
Hey there, Derek. I haven't heard from you yet today, so wanted to check on your schedule. Are you going to be working late again tonight? Erica's getting pretty hungry, so I was thinking about starting dinner without you.
Yeah, sorry, babe. I still have a bunch of work to finish before I can go home tonight.
I understand you're busy, but could you please message me a bit sooner when you're going to be home late like this? It would help me plan our evening a lot better if you could let me know before it gets too late.
I know. I'll try and message you whenever I have time.
Does it really take that much time to send one little text? Seriously, though, I'm getting concerned about how much they're making you work over there. You're not going to have to work next Saturday, are you? You promised that you would take Erica to the park that day.
Yeah, I'll probably be good on that day. As long as I don't get called into work at the last minute, I think I'll be able to take her.
You don't sound very sure of yourself. You know how much Erica's been looking forward to going to the park with you. She'll be so disappointed if you don't keep your promise. I mean, it's your day off. Can't you just tell them no if they try to call you in?
What are you trying to do? Get me fired? It's my job, Candace. If they tell me I need to work, then I need to work.
I understand that, but still, you haven't been playing with Erica at all lately. She's going to start kindergarten next year, so you'll have a lot less time to interact with her than you do now. I think you should spend as much time with her as possible now while you have the chance. I don't want you to have any regrets with her, Derek.
I know, Candace, really, I do, but I have a job to do. It's how I put food on the table. I really wish you would understand that. If I start refusing to come in when they call me, it's gonna damage my reputation around here. I'm trying to secure our future, Candace.
I know you are, Derek, and I appreciate it. But even on the days that you come home early, you go straight into the shower and then right to bed. I'm sure it won't be easy, but I wish you would make time to play with Erica more. Will you do that for me? For her?
Why do you think I agreed to take her to the park?
From what you just said, it doesn't sound like you're confident you can keep your promise, though.
Worst case scenario, if I get called into work, then you can take her to the park instead. Problem solved. She'll have fun no matter which of us takes her to the park.
She doesn't want just one or the other of us. She wants to go and have fun as a family, all three of us.
Yeah, and I get that, but I'm just saying, going to the park with just you is better than not going at all, right?
Yeah, obviously that's true, but don't forget that I have a job too. So even if it's just on the weekends, I would really appreciate it if you could take care of Erica for me from time to time. I've basically done nothing but work and housework for the last 6 months. Remember when my old friends came back into town and invited me out to dinner? I ended up not being able to go because you got called into work and I didn't have anyone to look after Erica.
I don't get it. Why didn't you just go? There's no reason you couldn't have taken her with you.
We were going out to get drinks, Derek. I can't bring a child to a bar with adult drinks all around. And I was hoping to have some time to myself.
So why don't you take Erica to your parents' house?
They're still working too. It's not like they're home every day. Is it really too much to ask for you to look after her?
It's not like I don't want to spend time with Erica or anything. Look, once this busy season is over at work, I'll start taking her off your hands more often, okay? Is that good enough for you?
I'd be more comfortable accepting that if it weren't for the fact that this busy season seems like it's never going to end. But for now, I really just want you to keep your promise and take her to the park next Saturday. She needs time with her father more than I need a break.
All right, I got it. I'll talk to my boss and see what I need to do to make it less likely I'll get called in that day.
Thank you so much, Derek. Okay, I'll let you get back to work. Have a nice day and see you later tonight. I'll put a plate together for you and put it in the fridge. You can warm it up whenever you get home. Derek, I'm at the hospital right now. I had to call an ambulance for Erica. Please, you need to get down here right away.
What? You called an ambulance? What for? All she has is some stupid fever.
Yeah, it is some fever. She was running a temp of 105. She passed out on the living room couch. And she wouldn't wake up no matter what I did. That's why I called an ambulance.
Yikes. Well, I'm relieved to hear that she's safe and sound at the hospital now.
You're relieved? Your daughter just passed out with an incredibly high fever. Exactly what part of this is relieving to you? Aren't you worried about her?
Of course I'm worried. I'm just in the middle of work right now.
It's your day off.
I told you this morning that I got called in. What's the matter? Do you think I'm lying to you about being at work or something?
Aren't you forgetting something, Derek? I do your laundry. I know that you always wear your suit when you leave the house, but you always bring home a dirty set of plain clothes, too. Did you think I wouldn't notice?
Oh, that's just for the times when I get out early and spend some time out on the town in the evening.
What? I've been asking you to come home early when you can, but you're going out by yourself?
Hey, I work hard enough to deserve some time to myself.
Whatever, we can talk about this later. Get over to the hospital the instant you finish work today. I'll send you the address and room number in a second.
Oh, sorry, Candace, I can't do that. I'm gonna have to head out of town to one of our branch offices the next county over. I won't be back for 3 days.
Are you serious? Tell me you're not serious.
Yeah, it was really sudden for me, too. Sorry about that.
This was the day that you were supposed to take Erica to the park. Why won't you ever just tell that damn company that you're not coming in on your day off? And didn't you tell me you would work things out with your boss so you wouldn't have to go in? Do I need to remind you that your daughter is in the hospital right now?
I can't disobey a direct order from my boss, Candace. Sure, I was supposed to take her to the park and all, but she came down with that fever. I guess that means I'm off the hook then.
I don't believe what I'm hearing right now. I wish you could see the look on Erica's face right now. She is in agony. But I'm glad you've been relieved of your fatherly duties, Derek.
Calm down, it's just a fever. It'll come down eventually. And she's in the hospital with 100 doctors around her, so what are you getting all worked up about? Seriously, take a chill pill.
You know, it really doesn't seem like you're worried about Erica at all.
Nah, I'm plenty worried, trust me.
Right. Well, I've learned my lesson. It's now very clear to me that I never should have trusted you to keep your promise in the first place.
Hey, you can't talk to me like that. Are you really gonna lose your mind over a freaking fever? God, you're always like this, overreacting to every last little thing.
Reacting? Our child is unconscious from a high fever.
I heard you the first 20 times you told me that. I'm gonna be really busy while I'm out of town, so don't waste my time with any more stupid crap like this. In fact, I'm just gonna turn off this phone. I'll only need my work phone anyway.
You're telling me you don't want updates on Erica's condition? She's gonna be here at least overnight for observation.
What a waste of time. She'll wake up tomorrow morning feeling fine, and you're gonna feel really silly for blowing it out of proportion. She's at the hospital now, and there's nothing I could do for her, even if I stopped by. You can handle it by yourself.
I see. Remember what I told you last week, Derek? I don't want you to have any regrets with Erica.
Exactly what do you expect me to regret? God damn, you can be obnoxious. If you want me to be at home more often, you're gonna have to do something about that attitude. Why do you think I avoid coming home in the first place? What the? Didn't you get it when I told you I was turning off this phone? What's with all these notifications from you?
From the sound of things, you haven't heard the news yet?
News? What news? Are you talking about Erica? I'm heading home now. Can it wait until I get back? I mean, she's been discharged already, right?
I'm in the middle of a funeral. We can talk later.
What? A funeral? You mean for Erica?
No, you moron. Your boss's mother passed away. The funeral is for her.
Oh.
Didn't you say you were going to be using your work phone while out of town? I got a phone call from one of your coworkers. They said they were trying to call you on your work phone, but the calls never went through. So they had no choice but to call your house to see what was going on.
Oh, well, thanks for telling me. I'll call them back now.
You get it, don't you?
Get what?
What I'm trying to tell you?
No, I have no idea.
You can stop with the lies anytime now, Derek. I know that you weren't going out of town on business the last few days. When I told your coworker you were going to your company's branch office the next county over, do you know what he said to me? What branch office? Then when I talked to your boss, he told me that you were on paid leave right now.
I'm sorry, Candace. The truth is, I just wanted to take a little trip by myself.
I told you to stop lying to me. I know that you're not by yourself.
What are you talking about? There's nobody here but me, honest.
You think you're so clever, don't you? You really think I don't know? But actually, I've been on to you for quite some time. I thought I made that clear when I mentioned that you were bringing plain clothes to work. The late nights, going to the office on weekends, ignoring both me and Erica. I am not an idiot, you know. I can put two and two together. I know you're having an affair.
That's not true. I swear to God, I'm just really busy at work. That's all. I know I shouldn't have lied to you about going on vacation by myself. That's gonna make it super difficult to trust me for a while. But I promise you, Candace, I would never cheat on you.
You left your work laptop at home. Did you forget about that? You should have done a better job of covering your tracks. While I did feel guilty about it, I just couldn't resist, so I took a look inside.
What? That's a company laptop. You can't just look around in there. That's private company information.
You don't seem to be too worried about information security, though. You had your password on a sticky note you stuck below the screen. You're lucky I'm the one who found it, not someone who could actually use all of this information. No, I was far more interested in the fact that you left your Facebook account logged in when you closed it.
Oh, no. You didn't read my chats, did you?
I most certainly did. I took pictures. It looks like you and your mistress had a fun little getaway for yourselves this weekend. You were
I'm sorry, Candace. Look, I was never serious about her, okay? It was all just a little fling. You know, someone who I could see on weekends from time to time, have dinner, that sort of thing.
You were serious enough about her to go and see her while your daughter was in the hospital, though. I've had more than enough of you. I want a divorce as soon as possible. We can discuss the particulars once you get home.
Candace, I really want to let you know how sorry I am for everything. Can't we talk things over one more time? No lawyers? Just the two of us talking like adults, okay? What do you say? Can you and Erica come by the house this weekend?
I've already made my demands of you very clear, Derek. Divorce, child support, sole custody, end of story. There's nothing more to negotiate. If there is anything you want to say to me, you can tell it to my lawyer. So no, I will absolutely not bring Erica to see you this weekend or any other weekend ever again if I can help it.
And that's exactly why I want to talk to you. I want you to reconsider divorcing me. You're being way too hasty, don't you think?
I've given you far more time than you deserved. I telegraphed to you that I knew about your affair. I was explicit in telling you that you need to spend more time with Erica. I wanted to trust you. I wanted to believe that you could change. And so I waited. And I'm not waiting any longer for a lying, cheating, deadbeat dad like yourself to come around.
I'm sorry.
Not to mention it's been 2 weeks since I told you I wanted to divorce you. I've done a lot of thinking since then, and my resolve is just as firm as it's always been.
You're acting like 2 weeks is a long time, but it's not. We've been married for years, and you only needed 2 weeks to decide to end it?
2 weeks. It's not like I just woke up one day and thought, I think I'm going to divorce my husband today.
I never meant for things to go this far. I didn't think me and her would continue our relationship for this long. It wasn't supposed to happen this way.
Yeah, I'll bet you didn't have it in mind, seeing as though she's married too. But things are looking up for you, aren't they? After all, she's getting divorced too. Now, you can both be together in public instead of in secret.
Hey, I told you I don't want to divorce you, and I don't want to get married to her or even date her.
Are you afraid of what that might do to your career prospects? My understanding is that she's an employee at one of your company's client firms.
No, that's not it. I love you, Candace, and Erica too. I don't want to lose you.
Oh, really now? You could have fooled me. You were going out of your way to avoid spending any time with either of us at all for the last several months.
I messed up. I know that. I've done something absolutely terrible to you and Erica, but there has never been even one single moment that I stopped loving you two. Just the thought of you and Erica disappearing from my life makes me sick to my stomach. I can't live without you. You can't divorce me. You can't.
You never stopped loving us? Oh, don't make me laugh. If you loved us, why did you prioritize your mistress over us all the time? Why were you constantly lying to avoid spending time with us? Even when you knew Erica was unresponsive with a deadly high fever, you still had no qualms about leaving us behind and going on a trip with your mistress. Do you expect me to believe you loved us despite doing all of that?
But I figured once she got to the hospital, everything would be taken care of.
You have violated my trust far too many times. There is no turning back the clock anymore. But you know what? Even that wasn't enough to get me to divorce you. It made me sad to think that you didn't love me anymore, but I thought you must at least care about your daughter. Yet again, however, I was sorely mistaken.
Candace, I feel so terrible for everything I've put you through, but I want you to believe that I can change. From now on, I'm going to be more dedicated to you and Erica than ever before, especially Erica. She's going to be my #1 priority. I'll show you how good of a husband and father I can be.
You've already shown me how good of a husband and father you are. You're the kind of husband who has no problems lying to his wife and seeing another woman. You're the kind of father who would abandon his own daughter to see his mistress. There is nothing more I need to see, Derek. I already know what you are. I will never forgive you for what you've done, and I will never take you back.
Please, I'll do anything you want. You name it, I'll do it. Just please forgive me. Don't throw away everything we have over one little affair.
It might be one little affair in your mind, but for me and Erica, we've been betrayed by you time after time after time. Every time you made a promise, you broke it. You have no one to blame but yourself for the situation you're in right now.
I'm sorry, Candace. I'm so sorry. I don't want to get divorced. I'm begging you, please come back home.
I thought you'd be glad to get me out of the house, though. Aren't I always being obnoxious, blowing every little thing out of proportion? Wasn't I the reason you were avoiding coming home?
I shouldn't have said that, I know. I was just angry, that's all. I didn't mean any of that.
No, Derek, I'd say that the true measure of a person's feelings is how they react when they're angry. You let your guard down and your true feelings came out. I will never go back to that house, and I will never take Erica there either. I hope you can finally sleep soundly tonight, all alone in that big, empty house. Even after everything I said to him, it still wasn't enough to get the point across to Derek that we were through. He kept dragging his feet about the divorce for quite some time. However, that all changed once his parents found out about what was going on and decided to hold his feet to the fire. It didn't take long for him to consent to a divorce after that. After matters were settled with me, his next problem was his company. Word got out that he was in an adulterous relationship with a woman at his company's client firm, and that did not go over well with the higher-ups. From what I heard, his company docked his pay and demoted him several ranks as punishment for damaging the two companies' relationship. Despite his dramatically worsened position in his workplace, however, he couldn't even resign out of shame. He still has his child support payments to me that he needs to make after all. His mistress, however, quit her job immediately and moved back in with her parents. It still shocks me how Derek thought right up until the very end that he was successfully hiding the whole thing from me. I guess it just goes to show you that stupid, clueless people shouldn't have an affair. Well, actually, no one should have an affair at all, but you get what I'm saying. It really doesn't matter much at all to me what happens to my now ex-husband from this point on. As long as he continues to make his child support payments on time every month, he's free to do with life whatever he pleases. Although I'm also aware that I'm not the only person he has an impact on. So I suppose I do hope that someday he'll come to realize the error of his ways and make himself into a person that Erica can be proud of. After Derek and I were divorced, I took my daughter Erica and moved back in with my parents. We've been there ever since. One thing has changed for me, though. I was intending to quit my part-time job and find full-time employment after the divorce. Seeing as though now I'd need to support Erica all by myself, part-time work just wasn't going to pay the bills. So I went to my boss and told him of my intentions, but guess what? He told me that the company had just that morning started looking for a new full-time permanent staff position. And so, starting next month, I will no longer be a part-time worker, but a fully fledged full-time permanent employee with full benefits, too. Now, the one issue is that my office is kind of far away from my parents' house, so I'll have to deal with a longer commute than I'd like. My plan, though, is to save up enough money in the time between now and the time Erica's going to start preschool to move into an apartment that's a bit closer. So the next 2 years until Erica graduates from high school look like they'll be a bit hectic around here. However, I'm extremely grateful to have the full support of both my parents and Derek's parents. My parents are gracious enough to provide us with a place to live, and they also said they'll help look after her if I ever need to work on the weekends. Meanwhile, Derek's parents feel so guilty about what their son put me through that they're sending me all sorts of gifts for Erica. Not just birthday presents and the like, they've also been sending me school supplies that she'll need come next fall. With all the people I have around me who care deeply about me and my daughter's well-being, I'm sure that things will work out somehow. Derek broke promises to my daughter left and right, but I want to do everything I can to not be like him. I want to always put Erica's needs first and raise her with all the love and care she deserves.
Good afternoon, Mandy. I don't suppose you're free at the moment, are you? There's something I need to talk to you about.
Hey, Mom. It's nice to hear from you. And yes, I just started my lunch break a few minutes ago, so I can talk now. Can I help you with something?
To tell the truth, there's something that's been bothering me about you for quite some time now. Perhaps you're aware of this, but I believe your spending habits are getting increasingly wasteful.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think so. If you don't mind me asking, what makes you say that?
My goodness, you mean to say you're not conscious of it? Dear me. Just this last weekend, you went on a bit of a vacation, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, that. It was my birthday, and Nathan took me on an overnight trip for a little treat to celebrate. We stayed at an adorable little bed and breakfast outside of town. I'll have to send you some of the pictures we took.
That's quite all right, dear. We still have much to discuss. For instance, the fact that you had this little vacation of yours not but 2 months after getting back from your honeymoon.
Yeah, that's why we only did an overnight stay rather than an extended 2 or 3 night stay.
And you bought a brand new car recently as well. I understand you might feel like you're financially capable of all the spending, since both of you have jobs. But to a rational observer like myself, I can't help but notice that you're being incredibly wasteful. Are you really?
Well, thank you for your concern, Mom. But I want you to know that Nathan and I are very deliberate about our spending. We're not doing any of this on a whim. We carefully plan out our finances for months in advance in order to avoid spending beyond our means.
Really now? I'm not so sure. Honestly, I feel as though my son working at a powerful and influential company is leading you to be overconfident. One must always be cautious. Even if you have plenty of money on hand now, there's no telling what the future may bring.
I totally agree, Mom, 100%. We'll continue to be careful not to get careless with how we spend our money.
Be sure you do that, dear. And you need to watch out for Nathan, do you hear me? He's such a kind and hard-working boy that he'd never admit this to you, but he tends to get stressed out rather easily. I remember one time early on in his time with the company he's currently working for, when he ended up needing to take 2 weeks off because of stress. So I want you to be sure not to add any unnecessary stress in his life. You're his wife. It's your responsibility to support him.
You can count on me, Mom. I'll take great care of Nathan. He's always been a great man to me, so I fully intend to be just as good of a wife to him.
To tell the truth, I've been quite concerned about Nathan lately. He's never acted this way before. He doesn't answer my phone calls half of the time, and even when I text him, it takes him hours to reply.
Well, Nathan's been very busy with his work for the last few weeks.
So he's been working late then?
Yeah, pretty regularly too.
Well, it does make me glad to hear that he's just as hardworking as ever. But as his mother, it still makes me worry about him. I mean, he's been busy in the past, but he's never been this difficult to get a hold of before. Mandy, would you be a dear and let Nathan know that his mother is worried about him?
Sure thing, Mom. I'll let him know when I see him later on tonight.
And don't forget to also tell him that he needs to be more prompt about getting back to me. If possible, I want replies to my text within half an hour. 1 hour at the most. Hello again, Mandy. Tell me, is my son back home from work yet?
Hi, Mom. No, he's not home yet. Is there a message you want me to give him?
Well, this is really a conversation that I wanted to have with him directly. Has he told you anything about my allowance for this month?
Not in particular, no. I was under the impression that he had already sent it, though.
The amount was much less than usual. And it's not just this month either. It's been getting gradually smaller every month for the last several months.
He's still sending you $1,500 a month, right? Combined with your Social Security payments, I think that should be more than enough for you to live on.
Are you serious? It's not even close enough. Don't tell me you forgot that I'm a widow. If I'm going to maintain my lifestyle, I'm going to need far more than just this.
I was under the impression that your husband left behind a sizable amount of assets for you when he passed.
Well, yes, he did. But like I told you before, who knows what the future might have in store for us? I want to make sure I have enough to cover my expenses in the event of an emergency. And I'd also like to leave as much money as possible to Nathan when I go to see my husband.
I see. But I'm sorry, Mom. There's just no way we're going to be able to increase your allowance any more than right now.
Why not? He used to send me $3,000 a month. And now he's married to you, and both of you are working. So I don't see any reason for my monthly allowance to decrease just because you got married.
But, Mom, of course our spending habits are going to change once we get married. I understand that you're concerned about the future and want to save up money in the event you need it, but we feel the same way too.
What do you have to be concerned about? You both have good jobs at good companies. How could you have any financial problems at all?
It's like you said, Mom, we don't know what the future has in store for us. It's the same reason that you don't want to dip into the money your husband left for you. Plus, we want to save as much as we can in preparation for when we decide to have kids.
I understand all of that, Mandy. But aren't you more concerned about me than yourselves? I'm an old woman who lost her husband, and I'm living all by myself. Don't you feel sorry for me having to live like a peasant?
I would say that even if your only income was the $1,500 we send you, you shouldn't have any problems making ends meet. So I have to say that present isn't quite an appropriate word for your current living situation. Even more so since your husband paid off your mortgage, so you don't have to worry about rent or anything.
You clearly have no idea how much money a person my age has to spend every month. Even the doctor's visits alone cost a fortune.
Don't you have Medicare, though?
That isn't the point. The point is you're not sending me enough money. Tell my son that he needs to go back to sending me a full $3,000 every month like before.
$100 a month should be more than enough for you. You were telling me a while ago that you were worried about my spending habits, weren't you? Maybe it's time for you to examine your own finances and see where you might be overspending.
Excuse me? Are you accusing me of some sort of spendthrift?
All I'm saying is that if you were living a normal lifestyle, the $1,500 should be sufficient.
Well, I never. How dare you speak to your own mother-in-law in such a brash tone? I'll have you know that the only reason I allowed you to marry my son was because you had a high-paying job at a respectable company like Nathan. Even then, I had my reservations. But once I knew you were going to keep your job after getting married, I held my tongue and gave my blessing.
Is that so?
Yes, it is so. If it weren't for that, I never would have accepted such an ugly, foul-mouthed girl as yourself as my daughter-in-law. The two of you make plenty of money. You've got no justification to decrease my allowance. That means the only logical conclusion to make is that you are wasting all of my son's money. I'll bet you feel so smart, having hidden your true nature until after you got married. I should have seen this coming. I knew you were fiscally irresponsible, and I wish I would have put a stop to this relationship when I had the chance.
I don't know what to tell you, Mom. I'm not wasting our money at all.
Nonsense. I saw the box for the brand new microwave you bought last month. And I saw the tags for a very expensive clothing brand in your garbage.
Wait a minute. So it was you who's been going through our garbage? That's utterly bizarre. Why would you do that?
It's your fault. You keep lying to me and saying you're not wasting money. But you can't hide anything from me, Mandy. I know what you really are now.
Mom, we've been getting complaints from the property manager that our garbage bin is a mess. Bags cut open, trash thrown all over the floor, that sort of thing. So could you please knock that off? If you do it again, I'm going to make a police report.
Silence, impudent girl. You're dodging the issue. I've been getting less money ever since you married my son. You need to stop denying it and admit that you are the one who's responsible.
I'm sorry, Mom, but I need to get back to work. Could we finish this conversation another time?
No, we cannot. I am talking and you are going to hear me out until I'm finished. You wouldn't dare put your phone down when your mother-in-law is speaking to you.
I'll talk with Nathan about your allowance and contact you again once we've made a decision.
That had better mean that you're going to start sending me $3,000 every month again. Don't forget that Nathan is my son. He'll do whatever I tell him to. If I felt so inclined, I could even get him to divorce you.
I see. I'll keep that in mind.
I think you need to be reminded just what sort of a position you're in. The only reason a pitiful girl like yourself was able to get married was because I allowed it to happen. And never forget that. Andy, you have some explaining to do. Nathan just informed me that you're not going to be sending me an allowance at all anymore. What's the meaning of this?
I'm not sure what else you want me to say that Nathan didn't already say. We're cutting off your allowance. Simple as that.
And not only that, he won't respond to any of my calls or texts anymore. I know that you're the one making him do this, you awful, awful girl. That's the only explanation that makes any sense. My son has never disobeyed me before in his life.
I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but you're wrong. Nathan was the one who made that decision, not me.
You're lying. My dear son Nathan would never do something like this to me. The two of you have the day off from work today, correct? It's time for a family council. I'm heading over to your apartment right now. You two just wait right there.
Don't waste your time, Mom. It won't do you any good to go out to our apartment.
Huh! You think your will is stronger than mine? Clearly you underestimate me.
No, it's not about that. We don't live in that apartment anymore is what I'm trying to say. We moved.
What? You moved?
That's right.
Moved? Where did you move to? Give me your new address immediately.
I'm not giving you our new address, Mom. Not immediately, not in a few days, not ever. Both me and Nathan are more than fed up at you constantly demanding money from us.
That wouldn't be a problem if it weren't for you wasting all of your money. For goodness sake, you moved? That costs tons of money. You have to pay a moving company, put down a security deposit, pay realtors' fees. It's precisely that sort of impulsive spending that caused Nathan to reduce my allowance.
Actually, we filed our moving expenses in the medical portion of our budget, because constantly dealing with you was having a massive impact on our mental health.
I've heard enough out of you. I demand that you cease your proliferate spending this instant and restore my allowance to the full amount. Cut whatever cost you need to. That's your responsibility as his wife. All you need to do is earn money, do the housework, and shut your mouth. Did you forget that I have the power to end your marriage whenever I give Nathan the word? If you wish to remain married to my son, then you will have to pay my allowance from now on. I want a $3,000 payment in my bank account by this evening, or else you can consider yourself divorced.
I'm not paying you a dime, Mom. I just told you. We decided we're not going to give you your allowance anymore.
That's not for you to decide. That's for me and my son to decide. I won't allow any woman to come between me and my son. Cutting off my allowance was the biggest mistake you've ever made, Mandy.
Weren't you paying attention? It wasn't my decision. Your son Nathan made that decision. He's the one who handles all of our finances, so if you're upset at his decision, then you'll have to take it up with him. Oh wait, that's right. He blocked your number, didn't he?
What do you mean?
I don't really think anything needs explaining. Nathan isn't working right now, so he's the one who handles all of our financial matters. Bills, savings, investments, that sort of thing.
He isn't working? That's impossible. He wouldn't give up a prestigious job at a prestigious firm.
He did, actually. He quit his job just a short while after we got married.
I can't believe this. Why did he do that?
He couldn't handle working for that company anymore. There was constant infighting amongst his colleagues, with everyone backstabbing each other to get a marginally better chance at being promoted. Then, once they got promoted, it was right back to backstabbing and gossiping in order to ruin their rivals' chances. His direct superior was one of those people who lied, cheated, and backstabbed his way to the top, too. Sure, the pay might have been pretty good, but considering the emotional, mental, and physical damage he had to put up with, it just wasn't worth it at all.
But I don't understand. He's gotten stressed out at that company before. When it happened in the past, he just took a few weeks off. That was all he needed in order to get back into action.
No, the only reason he didn't quit right then and there was because of your constant badgering. He told me everything, Mom. Like how you would barge into his apartment every single night during his break to lecture him about this or that. You need to hold in there. Don't give up. If you quit now, you'll regret it forever, and so on. He tells me he only went back to work to get you off his back. He would rather deal with a hostile working environment than you. What does that tell you?
Are you saying that it was my fault that he had an emotional breakdown?
That's exactly what I'm saying. You contributed to his poor emotional health more than anyone at that company. Would you like me to remind you of a few other pieces of emotional abuse you threw at him? If you don't go to work, then what am I going to do? How am I going to get by? Don't you care about me? I paid for your college tuition, and this is how you repay me? What are you going to do if you quit your job, Nathan? No company would hire a quitter. I didn't raise you to be a quitter. Don't you dare humiliate me, Nathan. And so on and so forth. Put yourself in Nathan's shoes. If you were so exhausted by your own workplace that you had to take a 2-week vacation in order to preserve your mental health, and every night your overbearing mother barged into your room and shouted that sort of harassment at you, don't you think that would be, at best, unhelpful?
All I wanted was for Nathan to work hard and achieve success.
No, that's not what you wanted. Don't lie to me. You were just afraid of getting less money from him if he gave up his high-paying career. You've leached enough money out of your son already, Mom. It's time to set him free. He's given you enough money already, more than enough. Far too much, if you ask me. At the very least, he's given you far more in allowance than you spent on his college tuition.
So it's true then. Nathan really did quit his job. This is terrible. But wait, this doesn't make any sense. Up until recently, he told me he was busy with work. And so did you. You gave that as the reason he couldn't respond to my messages. But are you trying to tell me he wasn't working? Ha! I've caught you in a lie, Mandy. You were just making up that story in order to have an excuse to not send me my allowance.
Well, I guess I have to make an admission at this point. You are right that you caught me in a lie, but it's not the lie you're thinking of. I was lying when I told you he was busy at work, and so was he. It was all a cover story to keep you from knowing that we were getting ready to move to a place where you couldn't find us anymore. Oh, but the other night, he was actually going to a cooking class. He told me that since he's at home all day doing most of the cooking, he wants to become as good of a cook as he can.
He's taking cooking lessons?
Yeah. Do you want to see some pictures of the food he's made for me? He's actually getting really, really good. The other day, he made some French dish for me. I don't remember what it's called or how to pronounce it, but it was awesome.
Don't waste my time. I know you're lying. You're just going to find some pictures on the internet and pretend it's something Nathan cooked. Why won't you just give in and admit you're making this all up? I know what I'll do. I'm going to call Nathan's company. That should settle things once and for all. After I call them and they confirm that Nathan did not quit his job, I'm going to have him divorce you immediately.
I mean, I guess you're welcome to go ahead and try. But today's Saturday, so I don't think there's going to be anyone at the office to answer your call.
I know that. Don't act like I'm some blithering idiot. I'll call them on Monday. You have until then to confess your lies and apologize. Good morning, Mandy. I hope I'm not bothering you at work right now.
Not at all, Mom. I actually took the day off today. To what do I owe the pleasure of you texting me this morning? If I had to guess, I'd say you probably just got off the phone with Nathan's old company.
Indeed, my dear. It seems that you were telling the truth after all. Nathan really did resign his position several months ago.
I'm glad you finally came to acknowledge the truth. With that settled, you no longer have any reason to interfere in our lives. I would deeply appreciate it if you would refrain from contacting either me or Nathan ever again.
Wait, I was hoping that we might be able to have a brief conversation. It won't take long, I promise.
What do you want? If you're going to ask us to give you your allowance again, let me cut you off right here and say that there is no chance of that ever happening.
But Mandy, it was my late husband's estate. It's almost completely gone.
I see. I guess you shouldn't have been living vastly beyond your means then.
That's not it. I was only buying the bare essentials. It's just, when you get to be my age, the bare essentials get more expensive. An old woman like me can't just buy any food or clothing. It has to be specially designed for an older body.
The bare essentials, huh? Oh yeah, Nathan told me all about your bare essentials. Back before we got married, you would go on multiple vacations every month. Treat yourself to extravagant food and drink at expensive restaurants. He told me one year you took his entire Christmas bonus from him and spent it all on one single handbag that's not even big enough to hold a cell phone. You were giving me all sorts of grief about my spending habits, but come to find out, you're the one who couldn't control her own expenses. Not only that, you weren't even using your own money. It was all money that your husband gave you or that you stole from Nathan. That's pretty low, Mom.
But I'm his mother. It's only natural that a mother would receive some kind of gratitude from her son, isn't it? I worked so hard to raise that boy, so I don't think I've done anything wrong by receiving a small portion of his income.
Well, you've already received a small portion of his income and then some, so you shouldn't need to take any more from him. From now on, you'll just have to live within your means like every other adult in the world has to do.
You mean you expect me to lower my standard of living? Don't be ridiculous. I've been accustomed to this lifestyle for far too long to give it up now.
Yeah, I thought that's what you would say. But I'm afraid that your greediness isn't our problem or our responsibility. You should take a page from Nathan's book. Despite earning enough income to live a far more lavish lifestyle at the time we got married, he was still wearing the same clothes he used when we first met. And none of it was fancy brand clothing or anything. It was all stuff that looked like he got it on sale at the department store. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but at the same time, you were forcing Nathan to pinch every last penny. You were living large off the money that you were taking from him.
Of course I was. I'm his mother. And it's not like I was keeping anything a secret. He knew what I was doing with the allowance he was sending me.
Yeah, he knew it all along and was always resentful of it. That resentment has gradually built up over time, and now it's gotten so bad that he's made the decision to cut you off completely.
Can't you please get Nathan to talk to me? I feel terrible about what I've done to him, and I want to apologize. You're right. I was being egregiously wasteful with the money that I was receiving from him. I realize that now.
That's okay. You don't need to talk to him. He's with me right now, and he's been reading this entire conversation. He says that he doesn't need or want an apology from you, and that if you're really sorry, the way he wants you to show it is by never interfering in our lives again.
I don't want to have this conversation through you. I want to talk with my son. If he's sitting next to you, then at least pass him the phone so I can talk to him directly.
You think he wants to talk to you, Mom?
There you go again, sticking your nose where it doesn't belong. This is a family matter between my son and I, and you have no part in it. Now, give the phone to Nathan this instant.
Yeah, this is a family matter, and Nathan is my family. And I will not sit idly by and allow you to hurt my precious family member any longer.
Nonsense. I haven't hurt him at all. All I want is to talk to my son. I have that right.
Just talking to you is a massive stress trigger for Nathan. It brings back memories of the time when you were badgering him into not quitting the job that was basically killing him. So if you really care for your son at all, you'll do what I say and stop trying to contact him. We've said all we have to say, so I'm going to end the conversation here.
Wait, don't go yet. All right, I understand. I was asking for too much, so I'll deal with just $1,500 a month. It won't quite give me the lifestyle I expect, but I'll have to manage. So please, don't do something that you'll regret.
Just $1,500? What do you mean, just $1,500? Do you think it's easy for us to earn enough money to both fund our own lifestyle after giving you $1,500 every month? You aren't showing even one iota of remorse. So again, we've said all we have to say and don't want you in our lives any longer. End of discussion.
But Mandy, I'm desperate. I'm begging you. You have to give me something. Anything. If things keep going as they are, I won't have any money to spend on food by the end of the month.
When Nathan came to you in his time of need, what did you say to him? You told him to suck it up and keep trudging forward. So if you're looking for pity, you won't find it here. I remember you once told me that as Nathan's wife, it's my job to support him. And now I plan to do just that. I'm supporting him right now in the best way that I know how. Protecting him from a greedy, wasteful, demanding, overbearing leech like you. I blocked Nathan's mother's number immediately after that. Sometime later, I asked a relative for an update on how she was doing out of curiosity. Apparently, she had to start selling the things she had bought with the money she got from her husband and Nathan in order to stay afloat. Long gone are her days of treating herself to stays in 5-star hotels and meals in 5-star restaurants. Now she's living off food she buys on sale at the local supermarket. I hope that this will teach her a lesson and that she'll come to understand just how awful her behavior was. Even if she does, though, I still won't forgive her. As for my husband, cutting off his mother has produced an incredible improvement in his mental well-being. He's off all his psych meds and he's even started looking for a job. I'm so proud of the progress he's made, and I hope to continue to do whatever I can to support him as his wife.
Hey, Allison. Just wanted to let you know I just got a call from my boss about a project we're working on. I've got a bunch of stuff I need to finish before I go home today, so it's going to be another late night at work for me.
Oh, wow, Marcus. Thank you so much for that useful information. I really appreciate you keeping me in the loop on every minute detail of your workday. Is that what you expected me to say? Look, unless you've got some life or death thing going on over here, don't waste my time telling me stuff like that.
Really, Allison? Do you have to snap at me like that? I was just thinking, maybe you might like to know I'm not going to be home on time tonight.
And why would I like to know that? Seriously, is there any reason at all?
Well, I don't know. What if you were waiting for me to get home to get dinner ready? I wouldn't want you to have to stay up any later than necessary because you have to cook or clean or something. There are tons of reasons you might like to know.
You think I wait for you to get dinner ready? I already ate a while ago. And I go to bed whenever I damn well please. I don't need to wait until you're home. Honestly, going to bed without having to see your face sounds like the best way possible to end my day.
Allison, I really wish I knew why you started talking to me like this. What have I done to get you to treat me so terribly? Have I ever spoken to you like that, Allison? Have I ever insulted you before? For real, Allison, I'm your husband.
I don't know. Do I need a reason? Really, the fact that you would pull the "I'm your husband" card on me like that is reason enough for me to hate you, I say. And it's not just me either. Even Susie is saying that she doesn't want to be around you lately.
Susie's a teenager, Allison. She's in high school. I mean, sure, it does hurt to hear my daughter say that. But it's just a phase she's going through. She'll grow out of it.
You think this is just a phase? That's pretty wishful thinking if you ask me. Nah, this isn't anything she's gonna grow out of. She just hates your guts.
Really?
Even when you do come home early enough to eat together, she never wants to sit at the table with you. And she never says anything to you when you leave the house for work in the morning, right? Don't tell me you didn't notice all of that.
Well, in all honesty, no. I had no idea things had gotten that bad between us. Was there something that I did or said that made her feel this way? I guess you two do go out together a lot on weekends. I don't know. Is it maybe that she feels closer to you since you're both women?
Don't know. Don't care. If you want that to be the reason, then you can go ahead and think that way if you want. So is that all? Are we done here? How long are you planning on texting me about nothing of importance?
It's just, I've been working late a lot lately, yeah? And because of that, I barely have any time to talk to you anymore. I had a bit of a break and figured it would be good a timing to text you and see what's up. Talk about your day, see how you're doing. All I wanted was to talk, Allison.
Good for you. I'm not interested. If you want to talk to one of your office mates or something.
I don't just want to talk to anybody, Allison. I want to talk to you. Why don't you understand that?
What's there to understand, other than you're acting like a creepy high school loser, begging for attention from the cool girl in class? Seriously, you're being super obnoxious right now. Grow up and handle this crap by yourself. Don't throw your emotional baggage on me.
Wow. I'm sorry, Allison. I guess. I had no idea you would get so mad about me just trying to talk to you.
Uh-huh. Well, now you know. So how's about you get back to work now, okay? And for future reference, you do not need to message me about something as trivial as working late. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have way more important things to be doing than talking to you.
Allison, would you mind explaining this letter you left for me? Are you serious about this?
Oh, you're done with work? Wow, you got out a lot later than you usually do.
Yeah, we got another last-minute request from a client, so I had to stay until everything was finalized. But that's not the point right now. Answer my question. Explain this letter. What's going on with you?
I'm sorry, did I not write it in plain English? Reading isn't your strong suit, huh? I'm sick and tired of being your wife, and that's all there is to it. And seriously, what the hell are you thinking texting me this late? I'd like to go to bed if you don't mind.
I get home from working late, find the house empty, and notice this letter on the table. And you expect me not to text you to see what's up?
My God, you are dense. I left you a letter specifically to avoid having to have this conversation with you. Take a freaking hint, would you? For crying out loud, you don't need to text me to confirm every last detail of every little thing.
What about Susie? Where is she? It says in your letter that both of you were leaving together. Is she with you right now?
She's hated you for just as long as I have, maybe even longer. Once I brought it up to her that I was going to divorce you, she told me she wanted to go with me right away. She was asking when I was planning to do it, and telling me to make it happen as soon as possible. Oh, and since I know how dense you are, let me be explicit. Yes, she is here with me.
I see. So you're serious then? You're really gonna divorce me?
For the love of God, Marcus, yes, I am serious. I want to divorce you. How many times are you going to make me say it? How freaking dense can you be?
Sorry for wanting to make sure. If I had the wrong idea about this, I might have made a terrible mistake is all.
No need to worry, Marcus. You're not mistaken. This is really happening. We're leaving. But I mean, this isn't all bad for you, right? Both me and Susie hated your guts and everything.
Yeah, you're probably right. Man, I can't believe this is really happening. I can't believe you're finally gone.
Wait a minute. Finally? What's that supposed to mean? Did you want us to leave or something?
Oh, sorry, Allison. My bad. That was a poor choice of words. It's nothing. Don't worry about it. Forget I said it.
How do you expect me to forget you saying something like that? Oh well, if that's really how you feel, then I guess that makes it better for both of us. Can I take this to mean that you'll consent to a divorce then?
The two of you plotted in secret to abandon me, and only left a letter behind to tell me what was happening? Is there anything I could say at this point that would make a difference? So no, I don't intend to put up a fight over the divorce.
Oh, thank God. What a relief. I was absolutely terrified you were going to dig your heels in and fight like a little brat. If I knew you would have been this willing to go along with it, I probably wouldn't have left in the middle of the night like this.
What a shame. Anyway, I'll call up my lawyer and have him draw up the divorce papers. Would you be fine with coming over here one last time to sign them?
Well, I guess that's fine. But I don't want you to get all emotional and beg me to stay when I get there. You got that?
Trust me, Allison. I've been at the receiving end of more than enough of your invective lately to know that it's over. I don't have any intentions to try and convince you to stay. Let me know when you'll have time to stop by then. The weekend might work better, since I'll be working late most of the days of the week for the foreseeable future.
Something feels weirdly anticlimactic about this. But okay, whatever, I guess. I'll check my schedule and let you know what's a good day for me.
Dad, this is terrible. I don't know what to do. Mom and I are in big trouble. Like, really big trouble.
Susie? What in the world is going on? You haven't texted me in months, even before your mom and I got divorced. Why are you texting me now?
We're gonna be homeless. Please, Dad, can we come back and live with you? If you don't let us stay with you, we won't have anywhere else to live. We'll have to sleep in our car, or go to a homeless shelter.
Okay, just calm down for a minute, okay? I get that there's something going on with your housing situation. Start from the beginning. Tell me what happened.
What happened? What happened is your wife and daughter are in big trouble. Don't you get that? This is no time for you to be demanding explanations out of me. You have to help us.
Hold on there, Susie. Back up. There's a pretty big correction to be made there. We're divorced now. Your mom isn't my wife. She's my ex-wife. She's absolutely nothing to me anymore. So I have precisely zero reason to help her out right now. Don't you get that?
Okay, well, maybe you and Mom are divorced now, but I'm still your daughter. Don't tell me you're not going to take pity on your own daughter who's about to be homeless.
If you want me to pity you, then start explaining. Unless you don't want me to know what you've been up to for some reason.
No, that's not it at all.
Alright, then I repeat, start explaining. If you don't tell me what's going on, then you forget about me lifting a single finger to help you.
Alright, I got it. I'll tell you everything. So, after you and Mom got divorced, we moved again. We were staying with Grandma and Grandpa, but we moved again to another place.
Yeah, I kind of figured as much. So what happened next? You said you're about to become homeless. What happened at that new place?
That's the thing. I can't tell you.
Oh, okay. That's fine. Then this conversation is over. I don't have any time to waste talking to you if you're not going to be honest with me. Don't ever contact me again.
Hey, hold on. What's with you? Is this what being a father means to you? Aren't you the least bit worried about what happens to me and Mom?
Not in the slightest. Never show your face around here again.
But Dad!
Don't butt dad me, Susie. Let me tell you what. You've got some gall to come crawling to me and begging for the help after you abandoned me like that. And not only that, you're refusing to even explain the situation to me? Get real. If you're looking for help, you'll have to look elsewhere.
No, Dad, you can't do this to me. I thought for sure that you would agree to help us. You're my dad. Don't you care if your own daughter has to sleep in the streets?
I don't recall ever saying I would be there for you if you needed me. That's your own fault for getting your hopes up. Oh, and by the way, what happened to your mom? You guys were really desperate for a place to live. It seems like I'd be hearing about this from her, not you.
Oh, Mom? She's busy at the moment.
BS. She's busy? Yeah, sorry, I'm not buying that for 1 second. Even if she was, she's not in the kind of position to use being busy as an excuse to avoid doing her own dirty work. Tell your mom that if she wants my help, she's gonna have to talk to me herself. I'm not talking to you about this anymore. She needs to wrap up whatever she's doing and pick up her phone.
I just heard from Susie, Marcus. You've got some nerve shooting down your own daughter like that.
Well. Looks like you finally decided to face me yourself. And now you're trying to make me out to be the bad guy?
Duh. You are the bad guy. Your daughter came to you for help, Marcus. She told you how desperate we were, too. And yet, you just completely blew her off? You're the worst father in the world.
I'm the worst father in the world, you say? Sorry, but I'm afraid you're mistaken. I can't possibly be the worst father in the world.
What? You knew your own daughter was about to become homeless, and you refused to help her. Are you really going to keep up this facade of being a good guy here?
No, that's not what I'm talking about. In order to be the worst father in the world, I would have to be a father, wouldn't I? So it seems to me like I'm categorically incapable of being the world's worst father, that's all.
Have you lost your mind? You're not making a single bit of sense.
No, Allison. I think you, more than anyone else in the world, know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm not Susie's father. Am I, Allison?
Okay, the joking around has gone way too far now. You may have divorced me, but that does not relieve you of your responsibilities or your familial bonds to Susie. She's your daughter. End of story.
Okay, do you have any evidence of that? Do you have anything that proves that Susie and I are father and daughter? If you got something, I'd really like to see it.
Would you stop screwing around already? In case you need a reminder, Susie and I are about to lose our home. I don't have time to entertain you and your ridiculous fantasies about not being Susie's father. We're in big trouble.
First of all, it's not a fantasy. Second of all, it's directly related to the situation you're in right now. That guy just kicked you out of his house, didn't he?
What's going on here? This doesn't make any sense. How did you know where we are?
Uh-oh, this is a big development. Are you finally going to drop the act and admit what you've been up to?
I'm asking the questions now, Marcus. Now answer me. How did you know where we are?
It's really not all that complicated of a story, honestly. You were pretty busy for the last few weeks getting ready to put your big plan into action, weren't you?
You mean you noticed?
How could I not? You were barely even hiding it. You and Susie have been going out every weekend. You said you were going shopping for clothes, but all you ever bought was snacks and toiletries. You weren't even eating or using them, though. Just putting them in a box in Susie's room.
That's not enough to clue you into what we were doing. For all you knew, we were going to donate them to charity, or just use them as a stockpile of supplies for emergencies.
Yeah, that was the only clue I had. You're right. I wouldn't expect anything else. But that wasn't my only clue. I also knew that you've been meeting Susie's real dad in secret for some time now. I think it was sometime around late last summer when it happened. You and Susie went into a restaurant downtown with another man who I had never met before. Yes, Allison, I saw you.
Okay, we went to dinner with someone, and
ever since that day, Susie started treating me like dirt. Now, that still wasn't enough for me to suspect that the guy you met was Susie's real dad. But it was definitely more than enough for me to become very, very suspicious of the two of you. So, I decided to do a little bit of digging into you and what you've been up to.
What? So you hired a private detective or something? And that's how you found out that Susie wasn't really your daughter?
That's right. And once I had that piece of the puzzle, all the other pieces fell neatly into place. Like, for example, the reason that the two of you have been making preparations to move out of the house for so long. You were planning on moving in with him, weren't you?
God damn it, this sucks! I can't believe you had it all figured out. I thought it was covering my tracks for sure. I gotta say, I'm actually kind of impressed. You're not as stupid as I thought you were, huh? I mean, you didn't notice for the first 16 years of Susie's life. I thought I had gotten away with it.
So you're not going to make excuses for yourself, huh? You're not going to say it was a mistake? That you should have been more honest with me? None of that?
What's the point? It's not like it would make any difference if I did. Unless you're telling me that if I grovel at your feet that you'll forgive me. In which case, I would love the chance to grovel in person.
Yeah, you're not going to escape responsibility for what you did that easily. So, let me see if I got this all correct. You moved in with your old boyfriend and Susie's real father. However, things didn't go as you had planned, and now he's kicking you out. So, since you were under the impression I still thought Susie was my daughter, you decided to use her to sneak your way back into my house. Does that about cover it? Too bad for you, it didn't work like you had hoped.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Everything is working out fine. We'll be over there in an hour or so. Make sure you leave the front door unlocked.
I'm sorry, what? Have you been paying attention for the last several minutes? What makes you think I'm gonna let the two of you in, even if you show up on my doorstep?
So, what? There's no blood relationship between you and Susie? She's still your daughter. At the very least, you've thought of her as your daughter for the last 16 years. And that daughter is now coming to you for help. Do you expect me to believe you're not going to help her out in her time of need? Huh, yeah, right.
Believe it or not, you're out of luck. I'm not taking you back. Sure, I raised Susie and gave her everything she needed for the last 16 years. Look how that turned out. She spat on my face and abandoned me for the man you cheated on me with.
No way. You mean you're really not going to let us live with you? You're such a jerk, Marcus. Seriously, you suck. You must be some kind of sociopath.
I don't think you're in any position to be calling anyone names, Allison. Now, if I made myself clear, then give it up. So your boyfriend dumped you. Sucks to be you. You'll just have to make it on your own like any other adult.
How am I supposed to make it on my own without a place to live? I'll take anything. Just cash to pay for a few months of rent is fine. So hurry up and cough it up.
No matter how many times you ask, Allison, it's not gonna happen. Ask yourself, why would the man you gave up everything to be with kick you out just in a few weeks? It was me. I made that happen. Why do you think I would go to all the trouble of screwing you over just to let you come back and live with me again?
You what? You made him kick us out? I don't get it. How?
It's been over a year since I figured everything out. I could have divorced you at any time I wanted, but I didn't. Why do you think that is?
I don't suppose it's because you simply cared about us that much?
Yeah, no. While you were getting ready to abandon me, I was getting ready for a special surprise of my own. A massive lawsuit for alienation of affection. So I made sure to dig up every single bit of information I could about both you and your boyfriend.
Alienation of affection? You're suing me? You can't do that. You're way too late. I got pregnant with Susie over 16 years ago. The statute of limitations has to have expired by now.
Did you really think I wouldn't have thought of that? There was a statute of limitations on alienation of affection, but it doesn't start until I become aware of your infidelity. Since I only became aware a year ago, I'm still well within the time period I have to sue you. I've already talked to a lawyer about this and everything, Allison. My lawsuit is all ready to go. I just need to pull the trigger.
Hold on. That still doesn't explain everything. You're suing me, right? That's all? What does that have to do with my boyfriend kicking us out? This is between you and me. It doesn't have anything to do with him.
I'm glad you asked. I told you before that I dug up everything I possibly could on your boyfriend. That includes where he works and most of his circle of friends. Think about it. He had an affair with a married woman and got her pregnant. Then, for 16 years, another man was raising his child. That's not exactly the kind of thing you like the people around you to know about, is it?
What? You mean you blackmailed him into kicking us out?
All I did was have a conversation with him about certain possibilities. In the end, he's the one who made the decision to kick you guys out, not me. I didn't force him to do anything. Granted, I'm not exactly broken up the way things turned out for you.
Well, congratulations, Marcus. Your evil plot worked. Just one problem. What are we supposed to do now? We've got nowhere to go. And now you're telling me that you're going to bankrupt me with a lawsuit? How are we going to live? Susie's still in high school.
Yes, it is a shame that Susie will have to bear the consequences of your actions. But you can't deny that it is your fault that this is happening to her.
Yeah, I messed up. Pretty bad, in fact. I'm aware of that. But Susie doesn't deserve to be punished for my mistakes. She was a wonderful daughter to you for most of her life.
1, she was never my daughter. 2, she hasn't been very wonderful to me for the past year. And 3, she's the one who chose her biological father over me. So when you think about it, yes, she does deserve to bear some consequences for all of this, because she was an active participant. Both of you are getting a heaping helping of your just desserts. Bon appetit! Not long after that, Allison's boyfriend followed through on his decision to kick both her and Susie out of his house. The first place Allison thought of to go for help after me was her parents. Unfortunately for her, I'd already gotten there ahead of her and told her parents all about her dirty little secret. They agreed to take in Susie until she graduated high school, but they kicked Allison right back out onto the curb. My lawsuit against both Allison and her boyfriend went great. For me, anyway. The jury found it particularly egregious the way she kept this all a secret for 16 years, only to leave me for him anyway. I was awarded a massive amount of damages. So, Allison has some rough times ahead of her, but things are going great for me. I'm able to focus on my work and my hobbies for the first time in forever. I spent more than enough time getting used and abused by Allison and Susie. From now on, I'm going to focus on myself and the people who genuinely care about me. Yo, Celine. Looks like I'm getting out of work early today. How about you make me that thing alike? You haven't made it for me in forever.
That thing you like? I don't suppose you could be a bit more specific.
You know, that thing. The tater tots and the meat and stuff.
Oh, you mean tater tot casserole.
Yeah, that's it. Your tater tot casserole is great. But it feels like it's been forever since you made it for me. So, I want that for dinner tonight.
I'm sorry, Sawyer. I don't think I'm gonna have time to put that together today.
What? Why not? You still have the whole afternoon.
Well, yes, but remember,
The twins are going in for a checkup today, so I doubt I'd have time to whip it together even if you weren't coming home early. Not to mention, I don't have any ground beef on hand, so I'd have to run out to the store for that.
Come on, Celine, really? I never ask you to make things for me like this. You can make it work somehow, can't you?
Well, would you mind eating a little bit later than usual? How about you look after the twins for a while for me after you get home? I can make it then if you want. I'll have to pick up ground beef on the way home from the doctor, but I should have it baked and ready within about an hour and a half or so.
An hour and a half? I don't want to wait that long. Why do you think I went out of my way to text you just now? I want it ready on the table right away when I get home.
Sawyer, you do realize what kind of situation I'm in right now, don't you? I just gave birth to twins, and I've been both taking care of them and doing all the housework all by myself ever since. I'm absolutely exhausted, Sawyer.
Oh, and you think I have the easy life, do you? You think I'm not putting in my all every day at work? I come home exhausted at the end of the day just like you.
I understand that, and I'm grateful, but at least you can sleep at night.
Yeah. I kinda had to if I'm gonna be able to do my job properly.
Do you know how much I'm sleeping these days, Sawyer? I'm lucky if I can get in a few hours of sleep in a night. And it's not all at once. I have to wake up every few hours or so. It's really, really hard to operate on that little sleep.
How much sleep could you possibly need? You're not working. You get to spend all day at home while I have to get dressed, drive to the office, work 8 hours, and drive back. All you're doing is taking care of a couple babies. How much work could that possibly be?
I wasn't intending to make this into a who has it worse competition. And let me just say that taking care of even just one baby is a lot of work, and I have to take care of two. I need you to help me out a little bit more, Sawyer, please. At the very least, could you just do a bit of the housework for me? Even that would be a big help.
When we got married, you said you were going to do everything you could to support me, Celine. What happened to that promise, huh?
I feel like I've done a pretty good job of that so far. Also, you have to remember that you're not the only person I need to support anymore. Remember? We have children now, Sawyer. 2 of them. Our circumstances have changed, and I think it's time the division of housework changed as well.
What are you talking about? I look after the kids. Sometimes.
Yeah, when I'm taking a bath or going to the bathroom, and looking is all you do anyway. Even if they start crying, you don't even lift a finger.
If I try to make them stop crying, all they do is cry louder. I figure it's best just to let them cry. Whatever it is they're crying about, they'll get over eventually.
I mean, yeah, sometimes. But even in the times that is the case, I'd still appreciate it if you could pick them up. Give them a hug. Talk to them. You know, do something. I don't want you to be just in the same room as the kids. I want you to be actively involved in their lives.
What's the point? They're still just babies. Whatever I do with them now, they won't even remember it 10 seconds down the road. They can't walk, they can't talk, they can't even communicate at all. What would even be the point of talking to them? It would be like talking to a brick wall.
That's not true, though. It's really important for bonding to have physical contact with them and let them hear your voice. It's not about remembering it as in forming memories.
Celine, ever since the kids were born, it's like you've forgotten that I'm your husband.
What?
Every single hour of the day, you're putting the kids' needs ahead of mine. I have needs too, you know. And who do you think it is who pays for everything around here, huh? I think you ought to be showing a bit more appreciation to me.
Sawyer, you know I'm grateful for the lifestyle you're providing for us. That's not what this discussion is about, though. No, I haven't forgotten that you're my husband or that you have needs. Have you forgotten that we have 2 newborn babies to take care of now? You work from 9 to 5, but I'm on the clock 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm on call every night.
You can take naps during the day, though.
I mean, sometimes, for a few minutes. But with 2 babies to take care of and housework to do, I rarely ever have time.
Okay, now you're just being greedy. There are all sorts of people all over the world who have had twins, even triplets and quadruplets. And each and every one of them manages to hold it together. There's no reason that you can't do it too. I'd say I'd help you out way more than most of the husbands out there.
Again, Sawyer, it's not a competition. There's no need for you to compare yourself to anyone else. They're our kids, Sawyers, not our neighbors, not your friends, ours, and that includes you. I would think you would be more willing to do as much as you could to support your own children.
Why do you think I go to work every day? That's how I'm supporting them and you, by being the breadwinner. And it's your job to support me while I support you. Today, I want you to support me by making some freaking tater tot casserole. Whatever you have to do, just get it done. Got it?
How do you expect me to do that at the same time as I'm caring for 2 infants who are less than a month old?
You can get yourself to the doctor's office for the checkups, right? You wash dishes and clean, right? If you can do that, you should be able to cook whatever I want with no problem. So stop making excuses and do what I'm telling you to do. I want my tater tot casserole on the table, ready to eat when I get home, and you will make it for me. End of discussion.
Sawyer, I just got your message. What's the meaning of this? You're not coming home anymore starting tonight? What's going on with you?
Wasn't my message clear enough? I thought I wrote it in plain English. I'm not coming home for a while. Simple as that.
How can you do that to me?
Stop playing the victim, would you? You never do anything for me. Every single day, you always use the kids as an excuse to completely disregard me and my needs as your husband. I've held my tongue for long enough. An entire month, in fact. I've been watching you to see if you really had any intentions of being a decent wife to me.
Huh?
And what a colossal waste of time that was. All you did was take care of the kids. Change their diapers, dress them, feed them, on and on and on. I wasn't even an afterthought for you. You never thought about me at all. Not only that, you're not even cleaning the house properly. Every single room is a mess. So, you don't care about me? You don't take care of the house? What reason do I have to come home to a place where I'm clearly not wanted?
Are you being serious right now, Sawyer?
I'm dead serious, Celine. You've completely abandoned me. You're spending all of your time looking after those 2 brats who do nothing but cry all the time. Your list of priorities is completely out of whack.
Those 2 brats? You're talking about our children, Sawyer. They're babies. They need us to look after them in order to survive. We're adults. We can take care of ourselves. I think it's obvious that their needs would have priorities over ours.
I know that. I'm saying that you're overdoing it. You're prioritizing them way too much.
If anything, I'd say the real problem is that you're not prioritizing them at all.
And there you go again, pretending like I'm not doing anything for the family. I'm providing as good of a lifestyle for you as you could hope for.
Babies need more than just money. A lot more than just money.
You are so bound and determined to make me out to be the bad guy?
Sawyer, I know it isn't easy to go to work every day to support us, and I'm grateful for all you do. But these are our children, and we're their parents. Don't you want to raise them together with as much love and affection as we can give them?
And when you do what you're doing right now and acting like I'm some uncaring jerk, you're just driving me away. You think I want to have to do this to you? I'm the only one trying to make this relationship work.
If you really want to do that, then why won't you simply help me out with the kids and the chores? I would have so much more free time to spend with you if you would do that for me. I could even make all of your favorite dishes if you wanted. The reason we're in the situation we're in right now is because I'm the one who has to do everything all the time.
That's it. This is pointless. I can't talk to you right now. It wasn't that long ago that everyone just took for granted that the housewife took care of everything. Our parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents all managed to make it work for that system. But I guess you're too good for that. Really, you have even less of a reason to complain, because you've got appliances to do most of the hard work for you.
Good grief. All right, Sawyer, have it your way.
Can you stop playing the victim for 5 seconds?
You're the one playing the victim. You want to talk about money? Okay. Who's the one who handles all our finances, Who's the one that makes sure we're spending within our means? Who's the one who pays all the taxes, utilities, credit card bills? By the way, your credit card bill was way over our budget this last month.
You've got no right to criticize me for how I spend my money. The money I earn.
You promised that you would cut back on spending once the twins were born.
Oh, would you shut up? You would be lost without me. All you need to do is shut your big mouth and do what I say when I say.
I hate to tell you, but we would be completely fine around here without you.
Ha! We'll see about that. Once you come to me on your knees and begging me to come back home, maybe then I'll consider it. But not before I watch you squirm in misery for a while. I'm gonna make you regret the way you disrespected me. You think you'll be completely fine without me, do you? Huh, that's pretty big talk for a housewife. If I weren't there to support you, you'd be bankrupt within a week. I, however, can throw all of you aside whenever I damn well please. Well, Celine, how's it going over there without me? Have you learned your lesson yet, or do you need a little more instruction?
You know, it's one thing for you to move out of the house, but you're not even sending us any money for living expenses. Are you trying to be as much of a jerk as possible?
What were you expecting me to do? I'm not living with you three, am I? And why should I pay even a single cent of my hard-earned money to support a bunch of freeloaders who don't appreciate me?
Right. Well, Sawyer, with that, I think I've officially given up on any hope I ever had for you.
Go on, you can do it. Just say the word, Celine. I'm sorry. You know you want me to come back. Just so I'm clear, though, I'm never setting foot in that house again until I'm sure that you're going to prioritize me over those two little brats. Whenever you feel like you've suffered enough, just say those two simple words. That's all you have to do is save yourself from the situation that you put yourself in.
Oh, I'm not suffering at all. We're doing just fine, actually, so you don't ever need to come back home.
What?
Actually, I'd say that ever since you left, things have been going more smoothly than ever around here.
Okay, really? Don't you think you're going too far with the whole strong, independent woman act?
It's not an act, I mean it. Speaking of which, you still had a bunch of stuff left over here. I'm gonna go ahead and send it all over to your parents' house. One more thing, I changed the locks on the front and back doors, so your keys won't work anymore. You can throw them away.
What? Hold on. Why are you sending my stuff to my parents' house?
You said it yourself, Sawyer. You're not gonna come home until I apologize, right? Well, guess what? I am never going to apologize to you for as long as I live. There hasn't been a single second since you've been gone that I've wanted you to come back. So I'm kicking you out of my house. You do remember it is my house, right? I bought it back when I was single, so my name is on the title. So I have every right to decide who can and cannot live here.
Wait, you're not making any sense. Are you saying you want to live separately from now on?
No, I'm saying I want to divorce you.
Divorce? What's wrong with you? What are you thinking?
I was just about to ask you the same question. You tell me to prioritize you over our babies. You don't do any of the housework. You don't even look after the kids. Who in their right mind would want a husband like that? And now on top of that, you're not even giving us any more money for expenses? So what's the point of staying married to you?
Marriage isn't about money. It's about loving each other. Don't you know that song? All you need is love?
If that's the case, then I've got even more of a reason to divorce you, seeing as how I don't love you anymore.
No way. Really? But why? You mean to tell me you hate me now?
Yep. If you really loved me, you would gladly help me out with taking care of the kids. At the very least, you wouldn't act like a spoiled brat and run away from home when things didn't go your way.
That's not why I did this. It's because you never paid me any attention. You spent all of your time and energy on the kids and ignored me. I got lonely.
I'm really sick and tired of hearing that same old excuse from you. Tell me, Sawyer, whose kids am I taking care of?
Well, ours, but why do you ask?
That's right. They're our kids. So don't you think it's a little odd for me to take care of our kids all by myself? And since I'm left to do all the work with the kids by myself, I don't have time to take care of anything else. I've told you this over and over more times than I can count.
But you're their mother. Isn't it a mother's job to take care of the kids? Men like me always have our hands full of work. What, do you think all the women who take care of the kids and house by themselves divorce their husbands? Of course not. That's ridiculous. Look, Celine, you're tired, I know. You just need to calm down for a minute. You're not thinking clearly.
I know I'm tired. And whose fault do you think that is, And another thing, I am thinking very clearly. More clearly than I ever have, actually. I've been so busy taking care of the kids that I've barely had a moment alone with my thoughts until you left. And now that I finally have the space to think freely, I've made my decision.
I don't believe it. You mean you've been wanting to leave me all this time? I knew it! You did start hating me once the kids were born. I guess you think you don't need me anymore or something.
That's not true, Sawyer. I loved you. If I didn't, I wouldn't have wanted to have kids with you in the first place.
But if you love me, then why do you want me to leave now?
You haven't done anything to help me out since the kids were born. You know very well how busy I am taking care of twin babies, but you still kept getting on my back about not having the house immaculate every day. And then when you started calling our children those brats, that was the last straw. I couldn't believe you would say something like that.
I was just angry back then. I was venting. You kept prioritizing the kids over me so much and I kind of lost control.
Oh, is that how this works? You get to say anything you want, no matter how terrible, while you're angry, and I have to just forgive you? Okay, two can play at that game. You are the worst husband in the world, Sawyer. You prioritized yourself over your own infant children, ran away from the house to pout, and now you won't even send us any money at all to live on? So not only are you useless around the house, you're useless as a breadwinner too. You're not needed here anymore.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to feel like you wanted me. I wanted to hear the words, I want you to come home.
Oh my God, you are such a pathetic little child. All of this was just a ploy for attention. Well, at the very least, I'm glad that I know now what kind of person you really are. With this, I won't have any trouble at all moving on and leaving you behind me. However, don't think I'm gonna let you get off the hook that easily. You have 2 children to take responsibility for, so you're going to be paying child support for them until they turn 18.
I'm sorry, Celine. I'm so sorry. I was acting like a total child. From now on, I'm gonna be a totally changed man. I'll help out with the housework and take care of the kids. So please, won't you give me one more chance?
I have been waiting ever since the twins were born for you to finally step up and become a father. I've been trying to give you constructive criticism this whole time to help you step into the fatherly role the kids needed. So I'd say I've already given you plenty of chances.
Celine, do you really think you're gonna be better off divorcing me? You think you could take care of the twins all by yourself?
Well, once I have to actually get a job, I bet it's going to be pretty tough. But I've managed to take care of them all by myself for this long. And without you around, I won't have to account for as much wasteful spending in my budget. My parents are going to help out with the kids after the divorce, so I'll be fine.
Wait! Why didn't you ask your parents to help you out before now? That would have solved all our problems.
You were the one who told me when we got married that you didn't want my parents hanging around the house all the time. So I'm not going to accept that criticism from you, you stupid hypocrite.
Sorry, I forgot about that. But I meant it when I said I'm gonna change, Celine. Please don't leave me. I'm begging you.
My oh my, how the mighty have fallen. Didn't you say to me before that you can throw us all aside whenever you damn well please? What happened to that confidence, Sawyer? Anyway, I've given you far more time than you deserve already. I'm not giving you one more second.
You don't get it, Celine. I was never gonna abandon you guys. I was just bluffing to get you to understand how I was feeling.
Even if that were the case, and I doubt it, I could never be with a man who would use abandoning his own children as a bluff. That's what they call emotional blackmail, Sawyer.
I'm really sorry for everything, Celine. Please, you have to forgive me. Let's live together again, okay? I swear to you on my life, I will be a better man this time around.
If you want me to forgive you, there's only one way to make that happen. Give me a clean divorce and pay child support. Then, you can do a lot of introspection on what a colossal moron you've been all by yourself in the cold and lonely apartment you're living in. And if you are ever even 1 second late on a child support payment, you remember. You told me that you could throw us aside? Well, I'm gonna have you thrown in jail. At his insistence, I've had a few more heart-to-heart discussions with my husband after that, but he never showed me any signs that he could actually change. He always put himself before the kids. He even suggested that we pass off the kids to my parents for a while and go on a vacation with just the two of us. I suppose he thought that going on a vacation together would reignite the spark we once had. However, the very fact that he would suggest such a boneheaded thing only strengthened my resolve to cut him out of my life completely. After about 6 months of him dragging his feet, I exhausted all my options of taking care of this the easy way and sued him for divorce. It took about 6 months, but now I'm finally free of him. I was worried about whether or not I would be able to divorce him at all, since he wasn't unfaithful or abusive. But I guess the fact that he was withholding his income from us was enough to get the court to side with me. After the divorce, it was like my ex-husband completely lost the will to live. All he ever did was drive straight to his office, work, and drive straight home. He never goes out anymore. He cut off contact with his friends and family, and now he just wallows in misery all day long. It seems that his feelings for me were real after all, but honestly, I can't help but feel like those feelings were ultimately self-serving. He's making all his child support payments on time, but he never talks to me at all, not even to ask about the kids. So, in other words, he's doing the exact same thing he was doing while we were still married. This makes me think that even if I did give him another chance and let him back in the house, he just would have fallen back into his old ways right away. As for me, I'm just as busy as ever. I'm looking for work, looking for a daycare to place the kids in while I'm at work, looking for government programs to help me get my new life started. It's a lot to take in, but my parents are being incredibly helpful. Plus, even Sawyer's parents are sending me gifts for the kids. Things like clothes, diapers, formulas, and all that. I guess they were just as disgusted by his behavior as I was. Taking care of twins is tough, but being a mother is the most rewarding thing I've ever done. My goal from now on is to be the very best mother I can be for them.